Playing the coupe at the lot. Told him for a 12 fuck swat. Busting all the bells out the box. I just see the lick with the box. Had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn field. I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo bill. We been trapping like the 80s.
What up, what up, what up with it? Hey, everybody. Okay, that sound just auto-changed. That's cool. Hope everyone's doing great tonight. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. It's popping off today, guys. So thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, let me fix up my headset thing here. This is all messed up. Okay, guys. This is a impromptu stream, so we're just going to be chilling. We're going to be asking questions. Answering questions. We got no martinis tonight. I got to wake up early tomorrow. I have an interview tomorrow morning, pretty early. It's going to be with, I think, Gareth. Let's see. Yeah, Gareth Ike tonight, who's a UK, I don't know, I guess entertainer maybe is the way to put it. So what I wanted to do here tonight was go through some of the recent updates that we had going on today, go through some of the evidence, and potentially go through some of the key points. Tomorrow's interview will be about 45 minutes long, so I want to answer any questions that newcomers might have or anything that anyone has about what's been going on recently regarding the videos and the investigation and what have you. Yeah, the sign will go up on the wall at some point. That's a really good question. Sign will go up on the wall pretty soon. Unfortunately, I'm not really a handyman person, and I was waiting for my dad to come help me out, and then he got deployed out for a project, so he probably won't be back for a little bit, which sucks. I was like, I think he's not even coming back for maybe almost 2 weeks, so or a little less than 2 weeks. So hopefully it won't be out there too long because it's kind of annoying. But anyway, there's the sign again. Pretty awesome. Okay, guys. My name's not Austin either. I don't know. A lot of people say that. It's Ashton. You can see it right at the top of the screen, like right here. So really not a lot of reason to spell my name incorrectly. It's like right there. Where can we find or watch the letter to Ashton Forbes? You can go through my Twitter profile. You can find it in my highlights. So one thing I want to say, like, I don't know why a lot of people don't just like scroll through people's content, but like I don't post like 20 times per day. I usually post between 4 and 8 posts per day. So, and I only put highlights up regarding MH370. So if you go through my highlights, it's only MH370 stuff in my highlights. So you literally don't even have to scroll that far. You can find all the videos. You can find the Diego Garcia whistleblower letter to Ashton Forbes. If you have any questions about debunks, you can find all of that there as well. That's all you have to do. So if you're new to this case and you have a question that you don't know that the answer is, you can just go to my highlights and you can find all the answers that you want. Every single thing you could possibly ask has been answered. So just check it out right there. And I will do my best to repeat some of the stuff that I haven't addressed. Although I haven't really mentioned this, which is, have I spoken to the family members? No family members have ever reached out to me over the last 9 months. And I haven't really actively reached out to them either. I think there's one exception that I reached out to one of them, but I didn't get a response back. So no, I've never had anybody come back to me either, asking me to look at, wanting to talk more. And I've never had anybody telling me to stop talking about the videos, nothing like that. Okay, let's see what else we got. It's almost a full-time job, Ian says, hearting every single Ashton post every day. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you guys out there in the front lines hearting all my posts and retweeting stuff. It's really nice. Maybe a book one day. Things are like crazy right now, guys. Like I barely have enough time to stream. I'm so tired from doing everything and like working 8 hours a day and then coming on to this as well. So it's pretty tough, man. I appreciate it though, man. Yeah, the amount of followers is huge. A lot of people have asked me to set up subscribers both on YouTube and on Twitter. And I've avoided that for the most part, but I may set up some subscriber stuff, at least on Twitter for exclusive content. I don't know. I just don't really care that much about it. I don't really need excess money or anything like that. So I haven't really tried to monetize stuff or optimize monetization or anything like that. And I think that's what pisses off the people who are the detractors the most, because they want to try to find a way to discredit me, but there's no real way to discredit me because I've never asked anybody for money. So when you hear people say like this person is doing it for money or grifting or whatever, those are all objective lies. There's literally no evidence of that whatsoever. And it just goes to show that like when they can't address the evidence, they usually attack the person. That seems to be the big play right now. The play right now seems to be to try to find a way to discredit me because the evidence is overwhelming at this point, which is too bad. This right here, I guess, is supposedly maybe the Leonard Ashton Forbes post. So if you want to see that, if you're an X, you can find that. You can also just Google Diego Garcia whistleblower, Leonard Ashton Forbes, and you can find the original YouTube channel. As far as I know, it's still out there. It's not like I check every day. Yeah, so this was one thing I was going to bring up here as well. Savage One says, I just want to know why they're claiming to have found the plane all of a sudden on Google Maps. It was trending on Google today. Yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and pull that up for you guys. So this post, yeah, here it is. Let's see. MH370 theories as doomed jet spotted on Google Maps in Cambodian jungle. You actually, let me pull this up. So this is funny because this is actually like the very literal definition of fake news. When I see stuff like this, it actually makes me wonder if the AI haven't actually just straight up taken over the world. Because these are fake articles. Like what you're seeing here is literally fake. The content that's in here is fake, and it's been reposted like every 6 months. This whole thing about using Google Maps, like this actually blows my mind how this is even real, how this has even been posted on here, because this exact same thing was posted back in like August when the investigation first started. The exact same claims we're about to see here. That's how I already knew before I even clicked on this that they're going to source somebody named Ian Wilson. That person doesn't even exist. It's not even a real human being. The first thing when I saw this in August about these like pictures, usually when you see this stuff about finding something on Google Earth or finding something on Google Maps or whatever, it's all fake because those images are years old. It's not like you're looking back 10 years ago. So when you look back at those images, like you're not seeing that. Most of the time, they're seeing planes that are flying over stuff as well, which like the whole Cambodian jungle thing, that's what that was. It was just a plane on Google Earth, like from years later flying over it, and it's not even a 777. So I end up looking up, and we'll dig into this in just a second here. Sorry, you guys are going fire in the chat right now. So here, let me just click on one of them for you, and I'll just prove to you that that's exactly what's going on. It makes me wonder whether or not like AI is literally just pulling old news articles and then regurgitating them as new when they're not. And like I would guess that Ashley Pemberton's not a real person either. Like you guys have to realize like how much news is actually just literally fake out there. Like, and I don't mean like fake news like Donald Trump says it. I mean like literally this is fabricated. Like there may not even be an Ashley Pemberton. Like Ashley Pemberton might just be like some kind of like writing name for an AI that produces the stuff. Amateur investigators are convinced they've cracked the case. You would think that this would be related to me because I'm the #1 investigative journalist related to MH370 on the planet. Like no one's even close to what I've been doing. But it's not. Somehow this isn't about me, which blows my mind. Oh, actually, no, this is the wrong one. This is the one about this is actually the real, this one is real. This one's actually about the Cardiff University. This is about the paper, the scientific paper that we posted about. But where's the one with the Ian guy? Okay, so this article is not the one I want. Hold on. Wait, so what is going on with this? Maybe it is like linked in here somewhere. There it is, right here. Yeah. British tech expert Ian Wilson was so convinced the plane's remains are scattered in a deep jungle that he and brother Jackie flew to the country to track it down themselves. So if you guys Google around, you'll find out there is no Ian Wilson. They don't have any social media footprint anywhere. I looked around like 6 months ago. And this isn't even like the right image. Like there's a different image that they claim is like the plane, but it turns out it was just flying over. And I know this because it fooled Patrick Jackson, the orb expert. And I actually think I have that. Let me see if I can find it. I even did a news explainer video. My God, where's the type? News explainer. Why can't I find it? It's so hard to find my stuff, guys. I have so much content and it needs to be better categorized. Anyway, there's a news explainer video out there somewhere, and you'll see that I actually have like a screenshot in it from this Cambodian jungle picture that it fooled Patrick Q Jackson, who's supposedly some kind of orb expert. But anyway, what they do is they just like pull old articles up and then they just combine them together. Now, I do want to talk in a second about the actual scientific papers. That was one of the things I want to mention, which actually in this article, at least fairness to this article, they do mention it right up here, this Cardiff University paper. And this Cardiff University says that this is kind of weird because, it's very misleading here. It says that the way that this reads here, it says our analysis shows clear pressure signals from previous aircraft crashes were detected in hydrophones, even at distances exceeding 3,000 kilometers. This is important because the 7th arc, where they claim that the plane crashed, is only 1,600 kilometers away from the hydrophones. So what that means is the hydrophones would have detected the plane crash beyond any shadow of a doubt. And so there's a scientific paper that was published in Nature that proves that they would have been able to detect this beyond any shadow of a doubt. So let me switch over real quick. I'll answer a couple other questions while I'm pulling that up. Okay, there it is. Any idea what caused the videos to resurface? They have occasionally been reposted. We found them posted in January of 2023, and then they had been dismissed and ignored. And then when they got posted again in end of July or early August on Reddit, all like the whole UFOs Reddit blew up for like 11 days or 12 days. That's all anybody was talking about. Everyone was investigating them because people knew they were real. Like a lot of people knew they were real. And you could actually even see back then the disinformation effort to hide the MH370 videos. People were posting a lot of fake debunks and stuff like that, claiming that this didn't look right, that didn't look right. And then people would come back and snap back and go, nope, this is like actually confirms it's real even more. So there was like an actual war going on where like people knew the videos were real and the disinformation agents were trying to get people to stop looking at them. And that's when I saw that, I was like, this is weird. Like I'm going to start amplifying this, researching it. And that's when I did my own research, started MH370X, which you guys are all part of, and been digging around a lot. I don't know what this is. Most credibility in the field for omitting the obligatory background prop guitar. Yeah. I think, isn't that one guy, Jay or whatever his name is, Project Unity? He's always got this guitar. Like, I can't stand people that are that pretentious for like, I play the guitar on the side and you have to have my guitar in the background so that I can, show you how like, multi-talented I am. Shit is just the worst, man. I honestly can't stand the UFO community in general. Like most of these people, you probably saw me going back and forth with one of these people that claims that like you're hurting the UFO community. Like what the hurting the UFO community? Like the UFO community has never had any credibility ever in the history of the world. They still don't have any credibility. The UAP like hearings in Congress have been a joke, and nobody in the UFO community except for like maybe a couple people has even looked into the science. Like there's no way to hurt the UFO community because it doesn't have any credibility to begin with. And the fact that more people just want to talk about aliens and being sexually assaulted by aliens instead of like actual science goes to show like they were never going to accomplish anything. Like this does sound egotistical, but it's absolutely true, is that I've literally accomplished more for the UFO community in 9 months than everybody in the UFO community combined over the history of UFOlogy. That's just the truth. Like I've pushed the envelope way further, pushed it into areas where nobody would have ever figured out without this investigation coming forth. And that's just the hard truth, man. Like whether or not people want to accept that is the truth. And I did it in a way where like I didn't have to even dig into the woo or any of this stuff, you know? So here's the thing. If it had been teleported to Diego Garcia, no, I don't think this plane crashed anywhere into the ocean. But yes, if it crashed anywhere in the ocean, the SOSA system would have heard it. The SOSA system is the U.S. military's sound surveillance system. So we're going to look at this paper right now. So what I want to say with respect to the science, and then we'll look at some Twitter posts right after that, is that we can now prove that the plane didn't crash into the ocean, at least in the South Indian Ocean, maybe prove that it didn't crash anywhere into the ocean. Okay. And this, I've been on the record saying that there was no acoustic detections consistent with the plane crashing into the ocean for 9 months. I've been saying that on almost every single podcast. In fact, if somebody can find a clip from like Glenn Beck where I bring this up, that'd be great. Because what I want to do is I want to make a clip where I literally predicted the future, said that there was no acoustic detections, and now at the end of May, which you guys are going to see, there's a brand new scientific report just from the beginning of the month here that we're going to look at, proves that I am 100% correct. Proves me beyond any shadow of a doubt scientifically that I am correct. There was no acoustics. This means that it is impossible for the plane to have crashed in the South Indian Ocean. They did the math. They showed the math that says we would have heard the plane, no doubt. There's no denying the evidence whatsoever. Even the CNN brain people can't deny the evidence. And I have been saying that for 9 months. I'm not a psychic, guys. I just know the truth. That's all there is to it. And this is like how this is going to start getting really awkward, guys. It's going to start getting really awkward because I'm going to persistently get proven to be true and, scientifically proven to be true. And more and more people are going to are going to be in like complete and utter denial about it, which is what we saw happen a lot. Like, am I over the target much? Yes, absolutely. We are so far over the target. It's wild. Let's see what else we got. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a look. Yeah, and we'll get into some of the Mick West stuff, guys. Yeah, we literally destroyed the #1 debunker on the planet today. Like, absolutely destroyed him. And people spammed him. Like, we've been spamming him with the evidence, and he refuses to address any of it. Like, these people are just in complete denial. They're in a catatonic state of denial at this point. And there's not much we're going to be able to do about it. The truth is we're not going to be able to convince everybody. Even someone like Mick West looking at literal scientific reports in Nature. Look at this right here. Revisited MH370, scientific reports, Nature. This is like the one of the #1 journals for scientific reports in the entire world. Here's your article, scientific paper published May 2nd, 2024. This is called science. This is hard science. And they do the math. This is not like some situation where they're just speculating here. So what I'm going to do, let me see. Any other big questions? Guys, there's so many comments. It's going to be hard for me to keep up. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to read the Nature article. And then if you have questions and I miss them, put them in the chat again. Also, isn't Ugly American? Aren't you the one? Yeah, you were the one who said you could help us prove stuff, right? I think yesterday. I think this is the person that yesterday said something about, I can't remember what it was, but reach out to me, Ugly American 09. I want to, or put your Twitter handle in the chat so I can follow you so you can DM me because I think you had some evidence you wanted to show me, which would be great. Okay. Data analysis from hydroacoustic stations of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization have unveiled distinctive pressure signals linked to aircraft crashes in various sizes in the ocean. Notably, these signals were detected at distances ranging from 2,000 to 5,000 kilometers, highlighting the efficacy of underwater acoustics technology in the event identification and classification in marine environments. In this study, we investigate the plausibility of an aircraft, such as Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, crashing into the sea, leaving a discernible pressure signal at distant hydrophones. Consequently, we focus on recordings obtained from the hydroacoustic monitoring stations located at Cape Luine and Diego Garcia, within a few minutes of the last satellite ping of the 7th arc associated with the assumed crash time and location. Among the available data, only one relevant signal has emerged as a potential candidate, albeit recorded at a single station out of the two stations available. So what they're saying there is they only found one that was even remotely close, and only one of the acoustic detections picked it up, which pretty much shows that that's not it either. To ensure comprehensive analysis, we also examine the time frame and location of the airplane along its initial route, though no corresponding signal was observed. So they also looked at the time frame along its route. They found nothing. Nevertheless, the findings in this study narrow down the range of possibilities and present a novel scientific approach to investigate such incidents. Okay, so we got. Give me a second. I'm gonna follow you, Ugly American. You can send me whatever the information was that you wanted to send me. Give me just one sec. Oh, so we're gonna go ahead and retweet that too. Hodge Twins just retweeted me 17 minutes ago. So if you guys wanna, I just retweeted that. If you guys want to reply in there, please do. Thank you very much to the Hodge Twins. Hodge Twins are fucking awesome, guys. By the way, I've been following their stuff recently. They are funny as hell, man. They've been doing some really funny interviews, and so I just want to give them a shout out because it's nice when you have like just cool people being cool and they're not asking anything and they're just retweeting the content, spreading the content. So I want to real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and followed Ugly American. You can send me a DM if you want. Appreciate you, man. Actually, let me switch over to this so you guys can see. So I think that just showed up on the top here. Oh, well, I don't know where it's at, but here it is. I just retweeted the Hodge Twins here. Let's see. What should we tell the Hodge Twins real quick, and then we'll go back to that, guys. Pretty awesome though. They're super cool, man. They like the UFO stuff too. That's awesome. I didn't know that they did UFO stuff. I've never seen them retweet or talk about any other UFO stuff. I'll go ahead and just link the videos in here for them. Give me just one sec, chat. Shit, where's the... Put a link to them down here. I'll just get rid of this here. Let's move this around. Now you can see a quick insight about how I do posts. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I make a post on this. Let's do prayer hands. Okay, cool. Yeah, I probably should have said men. Should we? Let's redo that. Let's redo that. You're right. It does sound a little sketch. Good call, guys. Good call. Thanks for being on my back. Slay it, guys. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to our acoustic stuff now. So yeah, those guys are awesome, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, they bring a lot of comedy, you know. They do bring a lot of comedy as well, and they do it in a way where guys now people want me to say guys instead of men. It's whatever, man. It's not that big a deal. I'm busy, but I appreciate them. Okay. So where were we at on this acoustic thing? So basically, long story short here, they've got 2 acoustic detectors. Neither of them detected anything related to MH370. This is really important because they can reach 2 to 5,000 kilometers, which means that they basically say, well, what they want to do is they want to do some explosions to help try to figure out like where the detections could be. But what they're saying behind the scenes is they're saying like there's no chance that the plane crashed along the 7th arc. That's what they're trying to say, but they're being this paper is being pretty diplomatic about it. Oh, okay. I want to listen to this. This is good. I love the detractors. It's impossible to share information with Ashton. He's 100% wrong about Diego Garcia, and it's not aliens. I don't know what that means. That means I'm not saying it's aliens. That's why he's allowed to carry on with only mild noises. He's stuck on one thing: right about the craft, wrong about aliens, wrong about where the plane ended up. Yeah. Well, You know what, man? If you've got information and you know, like, why don't you just go ahead and just tell the world, brother? I think it's funny. There's a lot of people out there that they think they know all the answers, right? And then they want to play like this like moral superiority cards. Like, yo, bro, if you got the answers, just let the world know, man. Stop pussyfooting around it. Stop hiding it. This reminds me of when the debunkers are like, I know who made the videos, and I'm like, okay, who made the videos? And they're like, they start crying on the stream. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, a lot of people too are so obsessed with it being aliens. Like there's a lot of people out there that are adamant that it must be aliens because there's these weird UFO people that they're like it's got to be aliens, and I'm like, well, we can explain everything that we see unless the United States government's working with the aliens. Like it's obviously an operation. Like they didn't just deploy this drone and this satellite to watch the aliens take the plane, guys. Like, come on, man. Like I'm not even against the idea of aliens. I'm just telling you, you got to use logic and common sense here. Like, and then there's people out there as well where they're like, some people will be like, oh, it's unknowable. We can't understand what's going on. Therefore, it must be aliens. And I'm like, well, I literally can understand everything about what's going on. And I'm a dude who knew nothing about electrical engineering 6 months ago. And we can like actually explain like every aspect of the video scientifically now. So, or at least like pretty much every aspect. So I'm pretty sure we don't need aliens to explain anything going on the videos. And also, who knows what the whole situation with non-human intelligence even is? Like, listen to my interview with Ian Carroll. Like, it could be like future humans going on. Like, it could be some underwater Atlanteans. No one knows what the situation with like aliens even is, man. So don't get me wrong. I'm keeping an open mind on that stuff. But what we see in the MH370 videos there's no aliens inside those orbs. Like I know there's no aliens inside those orbs. There's nobody inside those orbs. Those things are being remote controlled. So, yeah. Okay, let's get back to the goods. Get back to the goods. Okay, so really, I'm going to skip through this stuff, but you can see it shows all the locations of these acoustic detectors, and it goes through other plane flights where they crashed, and they were able to detect the acoustic detections. So they show like a bunch of different examples where they're like, we were able to detect these acoustic detections this far away. Like, look how far away some of these are. And they're able to figure out and pinpoint these locations of these crashes. Like all these detectors heard all these. So they go through all that evidence. Really, the end is the best, though. So the unsolved case of MH370, there's two acoustic detectors that were in range, Diego Garcia and the one in Western Australia. So here is the seventh arc. They're showing the seventh arc here, or this is the sixth and seventh arc. This down here, H01W, is the acoustic detector for Western Australia. And this is the situation where they want to do experiments to try to like do the acoustic detections and see how they work out. And then, do they not show the Diego Garcia one? I guess they don't show the location of the. Is the H08S the Diego Garcia one? I think this might be the Diego Garcia one. Anyway, we know where the location of Diego Garcia is. It's literally on this tiny island. So I'm just going to skip down to the end here because the end has got the goods. Jeez, it's kind of long. Oh, wait, where is it? One says something about the methodology. Possible impact. Wait, where is it? Oh, right up here. Okay, here we go. Right here. I think this is it. Yeah, okay. Discussion, practical suggestions. Here we go. We're going to read this part next. Okay. And I don't know if that Bob guy or whoever it was saying something about posting the links. Yeah, these guys, man. Okay, I'm not going to deal with LARPers anymore, guys. I'm done with the LARPers. There's also people out there that are like, there's like this Kabur guy or whatever who says like the Palladians stole the plane or whatever. You guys got to be very careful about people making up stories. Like this is why early on I said that I'm not going to let anybody set the narrative around these videos. Everybody had their own opinion. Some people wanted me to convince me it was aliens. Other people wanted to convince me it was fake. Everything in between. And I said, I'm going to come to my own opinion based on what the evidence says. And there's even people out there like, I know that the aliens took the plane and sent it to the Xenu dimension. And you're like, yeah, shut the hell up, man. Like, I'm tired of it. You know, a lot of people just want attention and shit like that. They're the same as the debunkers. Like, and that's why, like, early on, people would get mad because I would boot people out of Discord that would come into my DMs and try to tell me what it's thing. They'd tell me it's aliens, or people try to tell me it's fake. And everybody hated me because I was like, I'm just not listening to any of these people. Like, just everybody get out of my face. Okay. So, discussion and practical suggestions. Let's just read the whole thing. The limited number of analyzed signals from aircraft crashes in this study hinders a comprehensive examination of acoustic signatures arising from various modes of aircraft crashes occurring under complex conditions, including diverse topography and the presence of natural and man-made noise sources. Nonetheless, it is implausible to imagine that a significant crash of an aircraft on the ocean surface would fail to generate a discernible pressure signal, even at distant hydrophones, let alone in closer proximity. So this right here is probably the kill shot right here. So they're like, okay, well, even though you could make up some arguments about how the plane like had a smooth sailing, it's completely implausible to imagine that a significant crash of an aircraft in the ocean would fail to generate a pressure signature, even at distant hydrophones. Water carries on sound, or water carries sound very well. So again, the official investigation of MH370 supports the conclusion that a substantial crash should have taken place near the 7th arc. In this case, the acoustic signal would have traveled approximately 1,600 kilometers to reach the nearest hydrophone station. That's the one off Western Australia. A considerably shorter distance than any other acoustic signal analyzed here. So they literally found a bunch of other acoustic signals that are further away from this, much further away. And they found them all. And yet, there's nothing for MH370, which is much closer to the acoustic signal. An aircraft with a mass of 200 tons impacting the water surface at a velocity of 200 meters per second possesses a kinetic energy of 4 gigajoules, equivalent of 956 kilograms of TNT, or an earthquake of magnitude 3.2. Even considering just half that velocity, the released energy would still be large, 1 gigajoule, equivalent of 239 kilograms of TNT, or an earthquake of magnitude 2.8. Even with a significantly lower impact velocity of just 30 meters per second, which is very slow compared to 200 meters a second. The resulting energy release would be 89 megajoules, equivalent of 21 kilograms of TNT, or an earthquake of magnitude 2.1. Evidently, such earthquakes can be detected by distant hydrophones, just as M2.7 earthquake, which is one of the ones in their figure, was detected. Therefore, it is highly unlikely for MH370 to have crashed near the 7th arc without leaving a discernible acoustic signature. Within the constraints imposed by the official search team, only one signal has been identified at H01W, suggesting the potential impact location as illustrated in Figure 10. However, this same signal wasn't even observed at Diego Garcia at H08S. And they need to reanalyze that. So there is literally no possible way that MH370 could have crashed anywhere near the 7th arc. There's not any acoustic detections consistent with the plane crash. This scientific paper proves it beyond any doubt. They've done the math. They've shown the math. The reason why they're adding this one about only 30 meters per second is because they know that people are going to say that, oh, no, the pilot, like, they ran out of fuel and then the pilot like smoothly landed the plane on the ocean, bullshit like that, right? They know that debunkers are going to try to claim that. So they even got ahead of that claim, or like, even with the slowest possible landing, this plane is still going to leave an acoustic detection. So there's nothing. Crazy, right? For people like Charles, no, it doesn't necessarily require that. So I think that for people like Charles and people that think that, oh, it's impossible, we can't possibly have this technology. Yes, we do. We do. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm just going to be honest with you. We have this technology. The technology you see in those videos, we have it. The military is so far advanced beyond what the public has. This is the reason why people in the public with the CNN brains don't comprehend the situation. The military is, in my opinion, probably 50 to 100 years more advanced than what the public would get. If this investigation hadn't come along, if I hadn't started pushing this forward, we would not be getting the technology the military already had 10 years ago for like another 40 years. That's just the truth of how this is working out. And the way the military is so advanced is they're taking all the smart engineers, everybody who figures out gravity manipulation, they suck them in. There's literally a arms race going on between China, Russia, and the United States for control of this technology right now. That's why the public doesn't know about it. And it's to the point, and I've talked to some of these engineers where some of them want to get it out. And because it's been so suppressed, they can't even figure out like how to reveal it to the public without breaking the public's minds and having way too many questions get asked. Like, why the hell have we been hiding this for decades? And how are we like 100 years more advanced than where the public is? Because people's minds are going to break, like literally break. That's why like people like Charles, and I'm not trying to put you down, but like you have no concept of how much further advanced the military is. The military knows that there are laws of physics, not that we have to be rewritten. Yes, they actually technically might have to be rewritten. Law of conservation of energy and thermodynamics are going to have to be rewritten because the military knows it. And the private contractor labs like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Phantom Works, Bigelow Aerospace, Northrop Grumman, SAIC, all these people, they have super advanced labs where they know this stuff is real. They have air-gapped networks that they have the scientific papers and proof that's only on the air-gapped networks. It's not on the internet. And there's literally disinformation teams that look and scour the internet to make sure the information isn't leaking out. And when it is, they discredit those people and sometimes pull the scientific papers off the internet, which is why you don't see a lot of them. That's why the DIA papers are so important. So if you don't think it's possible, please go read the Defense Intelligence Agency papers about wormholes, warp drive, manipulation of extra dimensions, dark energy, negative energy, etc. Guys, it's out there. I guarantee you it's out there. And what I've been told as well is the key is being able to piece it together, like I've been doing in this investigation with your guys' help. You know, finding superconductivity, finding all the connections between plasma physics that explain what we see in those videos. That's why the MH370 videos are the most important videos of all time. They allow people to pull all this information together and figure it all out like we've been doing. And you may say, well, why haven't you been killed yet? And I would say, that's a good question. I would say literally if I was doing this 10 years ago, when the plane first disappeared, A, nobody would have believed it. B, people would have said, oh, well, they'll find the plane pretty soon. And now they can't say that because it's 10 years later and we found nothing. And C, I would say I might have been killed 10 years ago. Like, I think we're at the point now where there's a significant number of people that want the information out that realize there's no path to get the information out. It's locked up in so much bureaucratic red tape at this point where they're afraid that there's no way to actually release the information to the public. So when someone like me comes along and just starts spilling the beans about it, and I've figured it all out from publicly available sources, they're like, okay, just let this guy do it. You know, let this guy do it. Let's see how far he goes, right? Let's see how far he can take this. So that's what's going on, guys. This is a good question. No, we looked around for like earthquake signals. I don't think that this event had like an earthquake detection. You need like a gravitational wave detector where only the military and special access programs have those. I have it on good authority as well that they actually have gravitational wave detectors that are like scanning the entire United States, maybe the whole Earth, for like when people accidentally produce gravity waves. Because some people do figure it out on their own. And then when that happens, they go because they don't want somebody to make a super weapon. And when they don't want them to make a super weapon, they go and they suck them in like they did with Ning Li. And they pull Ning Li into the black world. Is this a psyop? No, I don't think it's a psyop, sadly. It's just the real deal. So a lot of people think, well, this has got to be a psyop then. We can't be that advanced. Nope, we are that advanced. We're just that advanced, guys. Like the military, if this was a psyop, the government would have been pushing this. I'm the guy pushing this, and I'm not controlled by the government. I have no connection to the CIA, any organization. I've literally just been promoting this information because I want the world to know the truth, and I want to push science forward because I'm tired of the bullshit. And that's why my plan is to start getting into over unity, because over unity, I think, will show us that that this stuff is real. If we can prove that you can make a free energy device, an over unity device, well, then that proves all the science that I've been talking about. Proves it's all real. And then I hope that gets people to believe, like, okay, well, this guy literally came out and was like, yeah, MH370 got teleported away. The science is suppressed and that we can make free energy devices. And now he's just selling them to people. For the record, I do not make the devices. I am trying to partner with people that know how to do it. I've had several people reach out to me claiming to know. And I'm not going to say anything more about that at this point until there's something more official in the works or whatever. And I will not sell any device that I have not personally seen with my own eyes. It's not going to be enough to like just show me some videos or explain the concepts. Like I need to see it with my own eyes. And when I see the device that is running stuff without being plugged in and no battery or whatever, then that's when I'm okay. Let's start doing this, right? And my side of it is what I've been doing. Like I'm a guy who's been explaining the science, explaining how it's possible. I'm an influencer, I guess now. And so that's why people who are like the engineers of this stuff are interested in working with me, because on their side, they're the ones who can produce the stuff. I'm the one who can talk about it, explain it to people, people that not everybody, but many people trust me because I honestly just tell the truth every time to people. And that's a great combination, right? Somebody that's out there explaining how it works, getting people on board with the idea, being truthful about it, and then builds trust. And then the people that are engineer people are like, yeah, I've developed this, but I don't want to get silenced in the background. So it's a win-win situation. Let's see. How could a conspiracy be kept secret at that scale? Good question. The way it's kept secret is actually, people don't believe it. So what you have to realize in order to understand this level of conspiracy is that most of the world will believe whatever's put on TV. And this is like, even I was a former CNN brain, so this is how I can understand this, is that many people just believe whatever they're told on TV. And now we're at a point where alternative media has gotten so big that it threatens that. Like, it's not a coincidence that the United States military, not the military, has banned China from owning TikTok because they know the power of social media. They know that you can control people's minds. And I'm not talking mind control, I'm talking brainwashing. And this is part of the reason. Now, the other parts of the reasons how you could keep this type of technology secret is that some of the scientists that know, like the people that you want to talk to are the engineers. I personally believe, and I've said this many times, that Hal Puthoff is probably one of the people that wants the information to get out there. I've gleaned that from watching his interviews. I can say, honestly, I've never spoken to him personally. And then people like Eric Davis, I've seen this guy basically like discrediting people and lying. Some of these people just get off on the idea that they work with magical technology and other people have no clue. Some of the people out there believe that keeping this secret from the world is a benefit, that we might destroy ourselves. And I tend to agree. David Grush, Lou Elizondo, the guys that are former military, they have NDAs. So they've seen the truth, but they can't say it because they would go to prison if they did. This is how this stuff is kept secret. A lot of these engineers, you guys have no idea how much money they're making. Think like millions, okay? So we're talking like the equivalent of like some companies CEOs make. So you're getting paid millions of dollars. Why would you come out and start spilling the beans when the military and the way it works too is the people that are going to potentially kill you are not going to be the military. It's going to be the private contractors and their own military force. They're going to send a guy to just take you and your whole family out if you start spilling the beans about the secret special access programs that they're working on. So nobody wants to risk it because of their families. That's how they're able to keep this stuff secret. And again, I'm just telling you the honest truth. Take it or leave it. And that's the scary part. And a lot of people like, why did China and Russia not blow the whistle on the United States warping the plane away? And the reason is because no one's going to believe them. The same reason why Vladimir Putin told Tucker Carlson, why did you not get into a propaganda war about the Nord Stream pipeline? The United States destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline, or at least the Five Eyes countries did. And they tried to blame it on Russia, which is like, Russia's like, why would we destroy our own pipeline? And the answer is because it's not cost effective. Like, the United States has the best propaganda apparatus in the whole world. If China or Russia said that we warped the plane away, all Western media is going to come out and say it's disinformation. And every CNN brain person out there is going to go, it's Russian disinformation. It's China disinformation. They're going to laugh and go, you can't warp technology. What? That's the reason why. And it's a covert war going on. There's a covert arms race behind the scenes. And then people are probably going to ask as well, like, what about, why are we not using this technology? Because you don't play your trump card when you don't need to. All the wars that are happening out there are just for show. They're just for money. The war in Ukraine is a joke. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, the whole point of the war in Ukraine is to weaken Russia. It's a proxy war. We're risking nothing. We're just giving them weapons and money, and Ukrainians are dying fighting Russians, and it weakens both of them. Like, just that's how geopolitics plays out. The reason why Russia's not attacking us directly is because we would just fucking warp Vladimir Putin to the moon. Like, that's the reality. Vladimir Putin knows that we could take him out at any moment, anytime we want. Simple. Once you see those videos, the orb videos of MH370 being orbed away, and you're a foreign leader, you know that your plane that you get on at any moment could go down whenever the United States wants it to, anytime. And why don't we? Well, because that doesn't solve anything. Then somebody worse takes his place, and then they maybe retaliate. So that's how geopolitics plays out, guys. Yeah, corporate greed is another reason as well. So, Battelle Institute is another one. I'm probably like several hundred comments behind already, guys, on some of this. And then people usually ask me at this point, like, are you afraid for your safety? Not really. Am I at risk? Yeah, probably a little bit, maybe even more than a little bit. But at the end of the day, the reason why I did this is because I don't have like children that I have to worry about. I have a security clearance, so it's very difficult for people to make up disinformation about me because my background was vetted by the United States government. So anything that people say about, me, any type of fake stuff people push, well, the United States government already vetted my whole background. So kind of rules out all the things where they could say, like, you're crazy, you've psychological problems, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's no crime in my background, nothing like that, right? They've already been vetted by the most extensive background search in history. I could even go into details about how the background stuff works, but I choose not to because I don't want to push the limit. Chicane, what books are you recommending reading? Honestly, like, if you're trying to get into the science, you should definitely check out Thomas Bearden, but you want to start at the basics. Like, you literally, when you dig into this stuff, you start with the basics of electrical engineering until that starts to make sense, and then you work your way up. And you can kind of skip ahead and start looking at the good, fun stuff, but you need to really understand the basics. But what I like to tell people is everybody can learn this. This is not a situation where you have to be some special, super smart PhD. The great part about the physics when you dig into it, it's actually very simple. The physics is actually pretty simple. And you may say, oh, no, it's very complicated. It's actually not. Like, once you start to learn it, you realize, like, oh, it's Alcubierre warp drive. It's Star Trek warp drive. It's like literally wormholes, like very similar to Stargate, the TV show. And you start to think about that. You're like, oh, okay, well, that's something I can wrap my brain around, And the idea of the ether is just like the fabric of canvas of a painting. The concepts are not that difficult to understand. And once you start to see the world the right way, then you'll begin to understand the science a lot better. Because once you realize there's a canvas underneath, that's where you have this idea of like, oh, okay, well, now if there's a canvas, now I can understand if I just bend the canvas, now I can make a wormhole and I can just puncture through it. Because all points in space and time are actually connected. They look like they're not connected because we see them like this. But all points in space and time are actually connected through the ether, where light moves faster than what we imagine is the speed limit. Okay, so is there anything else in this paper? I think that's it for that paper. Let's go take a look at what we got going on, popping off here. Okay. And thank you for the words of support and encouragement. I appreciate it. A lot of people have also asked me that they want to donate to the cause. And I would say, don't worry about that at the moment. Save your money for yourself. I'm not in a financial straits situation. That was another reason why I wanted to do this, because I was afraid that one of the ways they would pressure somebody who talks about this is financially, either incentivize them or try to like take their job away and make them very desperate for money. The good news is I've been working I've had a great job for 20 years. So I've got a decent amount of money. Like, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be homeless if something were to go wrong. And also I invested in NXPI. I'm on the record saying that. I invested in NXPI, which is the company that bought Freescale Semiconductors. After I learned that superconductors are like the magical technology, and you can see that they've done very well. So I'm in good enough shape. Now, I'm not wealthy. I wouldn't say that I'm not an elite person or whatever, but I'm not going to be on the street homeless if I were to lose my job. So you don't need to donate money to me, although I greatly appreciate the people a lot of people have messaged me that. And if we do get into a situation where I am able to start a new business in the over Unity business, the free energy device business, then I would want you to save your money so that you can buy some of these devices so that we can become energy independent. Because the truth is, these devices are not going to be cheap that much. I don't know exactly how much they're going to cost, but I know they're not going to be cheap. It's going to be like trying to buy a car, probably. That's the only thing I can equate it to. I don't have any exact numbers or anything like that. And when I do, I will let you guys know. But I want to set the expectations for you. It's not going to be It's not even going to be like buying an iPhone. Even though these are pretty damn expensive these days. I think this iPhone was like $1,500 or something like that, which is wild to me. It's going to be significantly more, but there will be benefits associated to it for sure. And so what MA says, I think they're slowly releasing it. Yeah, 100%. It may be that 2024 is the time where they were waiting for somebody like me or like you guys to come forward who has the reach, who can figure out the science to just disclose it for them. You have to realize in government, there's a lot of red tape. So for a lot of this science, there's no path for anyone to disclose it without going to prison. So when somebody comes forward and figures it out from the public standpoint, if you're one of the white hats that wants the information out there, then that's great. But even the white hats are afraid of this technology because they know it can end the world. So even they're like a little bit like, ooh, should we let people know about this? Like, it's tough. So that's the situation we're in right now. Let's see what else we got. I don't know much about Ning Li, but I have had it on pretty good authority that she went and worked with Lockheed Martin. She didn't go back to China. Joe Rogan talks about this. She didn't go back to China. She got sucked into the black project world. I'm like 100% sure that superconductors can achieve anti-gravitational effects, and I've talked about that a little bit. We're actually going to look at that in a minute here related to that. Hey, I said that I would shut up for $10 million. So the joke has been, guys, give me $10 million and give me a ScarJo clone, Scarlett Johansson clone. Because, I mean, if we can teleport planes, we better be able to clone people. I mean, doesn't seem that crazy. Compared to teleportation, cloning seems like, sure, we can have that. The truth is, guys, like what I tell people too is like, everybody's corruptible. Anyone who says they're not corruptible, they're lying to you, right? So you can you can tell that I'm being honest and open with you about everything because I'm even telling you that I'm corruptible. You would be able to tell right away if something in my personality changes. Like if I get forced into a situation where I have to sign an NDA or I took a deal, you're going to see a drastic change in the way that I'm talking to you, most likely. And I probably would tell you straight up, like, guys, I have to stop talking about this or that. I would probably just tell you guys that. But honestly, the government should have paid me the $10 million early on. They'd be in a lot less bullshit than they're in right now, which tells me that maybe they're like, maybe they want this stuff to get out there. Because $10 million to hide the biggest conspiracy in the history of the world that's a cheap by comparison. The lawsuits that are going to be coming against the United States government from the families of the victims are going to be in the billions and billions. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, free energy is available now. So the other thing too, I say this a lot, I want to address it again, is that free energy is already available. I have it on pretty good authority that people have already produced free energy devices that are out there. The difficulty is finding the ones that aren't going to scam you, the ones that actually work, that aren't a trick. And this is where, like, that's why I say I need to see it with my own eyes, because I need to vet the people and figure out, like, can this actually, are you one of the ones that figure out how to really do it? And what are going to be the liabilities? Like, I don't want something with a lot of moving parts in there, because that's going to break. I don't want something that's going to like give somebody cancer or any bullshit like that. But this is why the best I can do for you guys, I'm not going to be the one that tells you exactly how the iPhone works. Like I said, I'm not the one building it either. So I can't reasonably ask somebody else who I would partner with to like, hey, give away all your knowledge and your information for free. Let everybody else steal your idea. It's not really how it's going to play out. What I can do is I can tell you about the concepts, the ether, how you can extract it, how Maxwell's equations have been incorrectly written. We can review Thomas Beard and stuff so that people that are inspired out there can find their own way to do it. What I've also believe is that there's more than one way to produce over unity. Like there's multiple ways to extract the energy from the ether, from the environment. And the other idea is like that power doesn't flow through wires. Sorry, here's some noise. We're just going to ignore that. Power doesn't flow through wires. So if power doesn't flow through wires, then you can begin to understand this idea of like how you could extract energy from the environment. So, and just for the record, guys, I'm going to do my own thing and whatever I want to do related to free energy. Everybody else who's out there is free to do it however they want. I've got an idea in my head for the way to get it to the world. And it's not going to be the way that everybody else wants and expects, but I support everybody else doing whatever you want. If you want to figure out how it works and make a device that you can prove that works, and you want to go try to get CNN to show it, and you want to put it on the blockchain or whatever, go nuts, man. Go nuts. I want to create an industry where there's competition, where there's multiple people producing them, where everybody in the future, like let's say 25 years down the line, everybody in the world can afford a free energy device, and that we completely remove our dependence on fossil fuels with respect to conventional energy. To me, that would be amazing. That's like a libertarian fucking dream. That's what I'm trying to do, chat. Okay. Yeah, let's not dig into Anthony Fauci, but let's just say I'm not a huge fan of him in general. What else did people say? Could you see a scenario where this tech is public in our lifetime? Yeah. So basically, just as I said, I think there is a scenario. I think that we can put laws into place that will protect people from making doomsday weapons, and that we might be able to use like gravitational wave generators to monitor the country and make sure that nobody's producing them, similar to how we prevent people from making nuclear weapons right now with respect to like plutonium and uranium, some of the key aspects or key things that are required to produce them. You track the supply, and you can potentially have detectors that can detect like big anomalies, but it is going to be risky, 100%. What to use to manipulate energy? Yeah, there's a whole aspect about computing as well related to free energy. Like, what's that going to do to like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? I don't know. That's a good question. Really good question. I mean, just imagine. Yeah, and compartmentalization is one of the ways where they keep the information secret. So one of the things we found out recently was that some of the technology is so secret that it doesn't even get classified, because just classifying it would make it so that so many more people are exposed to it that it starts to leak out. So that's the ways that they kind of hide this stuff. Oh, okay, that's outside. I was wondering what that loud noise was. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to skip ahead here. Eric Weinstein has not commented on anything out there, which is surprising, I think. He's been very quiet ever since I caught him on the superconductive. I asked him about superconductivity in a space, and he was like, he wasn't interested. That's all he said, was not interested, which was the weirdest response. For a physicist to not understand the implications of superconductivity was pretty mind-blowing to me. He lumped it into like esoteric stuff where it is absolutely not esoteric. I don't think that Eric Weinstein is controlled. I just don't get that vibe from him. I just think that he is old school, and the old school people don't understand how this information has been kept secret from the rest of the world. They think that everything you read in scientific journals that come out is like the latest breaking stuff, when it's not. That stuff's like 20 years old at best. This stuff about the AIDS journalist, I think this is MH17. So some people confuse MH17 with MH370. There's no AIDS scientists on MH370. The patent thing related to MH370 is also false. Those people weren't even on the plane. But the Freescale Semiconductor employees are definitely they're definitely the ones who are the motive. Legit physicists. I'm trying to get other physicists on board. It's hard because a lot of them are stuck in this idea of particles and not waves. And a lot of the physicists don't understand it. The engineers are the ones who understand it because they actually work with it and they see it with their eyes. But Roy D. Herbert is a theoretical physicist who is pretty good following on Twitter. But the science influencer guys, like, I don't know. Like, that would be the thing that would push this over the limit. When the science influencers, the ones that have hundreds of thousands of followers that go on the TV shows and whatever, when they get on board, then this whole thing is going to blow wide open. I don't know how many of them are controlled or not, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm going to skip down and try to catch up on the questions, guys, because you guys, so many questions are flying through the chat. And I want to dig through some of the Twitter post stuff before I log off tonight as well. Yeah, so you have to realize all mainstream media is controlled by the government. They're not going to post it for one of two reasons. Number one reason is all like the TV stuff is 100% controlled by the government. They were not allowed to post a lot of stuff like this. They're going to be told not to. I think it was a Project Paperclip or one of the ones where like the CIA literally has like plants all throughout all mainstream media. That's almost certainly true. And then the other side is there's certain people that this is like just too far beyond. It's too far beyond the paradigm for them, and it threatens their worldview too much. So much like the debunkers, they're just never going to be able to accept that it's real. And that's what a lot of the media is as well. And this is part of the reason why the mainstream media is mostly dead, mostly dead. Yeah, T-Wolves trying not to get swept. I do have a vested interest in that. I was planning on watching it, but instead I'm hanging out with you guys. So I do see that we're winning, but it's probably best I don't watch because every time I watch, we freaking lose. So it sucks. And the whole investment thing, wouldn't happen right away, but we're way ahead of ourselves, guys. Like we gotta start a business before we start talking about investing and stuff like that. But when you guys get into it, yeah, and also just save as much money as you can, man. Not enough people save money, and you should invest your money in the stock market. And it's much better than having it in your bank account sitting around. Ideally, you want to diversify, but if you do have insider information, like you know what industries are going to be great, then put your money in those. And the younger you are, the more risk you should take. If you're older and you can't afford to lose the money, then you should take less risk. If you're younger and you can afford it, you've got 20, 40 years ahead of you, put it in some of the riskier stuff because you might get lucky and shoot up, guys. Yeah, 3D printers are going to end up changing some of the world. How would the technology end the world? Well, if you imagine infinite power, then you can begin to understand how it's possible. Some of the people earlier on were saying we can't generate enough power for what we see in there. But once you realize we have access to unlimited energy from the ether, free energy, then you can begin to imagine how it is 100% possible. And then it's a matter of taking those orbs that we see and scaling it up. You scale it up to a point where you create a black hole, like a real black hole. Even creating, like, this is why people are freaked out from like CERN and stuff like that. But the thing about these technologies are like the way that Dave Rossi said on the Tim Pool podcast, he's like, you turn it sideways and now you have, I think he said like a rail gun, so the same way where nuclear power leads to nuclear bombs, this type of scalar physics, free energy, leads to weapons of mass destruction beyond our comprehension. That's just the truth of it. Imagine, so like a taser, the tasers that the cops use, those can kill people. Imagine a taser times like 1 trillion. That could take out like everybody inside an entire country. Mass death, instant death. And that's just from like using it as like electricity as opposed to creating like a destructive weapon out of it. So absolutely, there's very, very dangerous aspects to this. Oh, Charles Almeida, thank you. The day we discovered the complete formula for relativity, which at certain limits becomes quantum and difficult to understand mathematically, do you think about this? Yes, I think it's already been discovered. Unification theories, the unification of quantum field mechanics, quantum field theory, and general relativity. Sorry, you can't see me doing my hand movements here. Yes, but I think that these have already been discovered multiple times over. And this is the thing that is really being suppressed, because once you start to get these quantum effects on the macro level, that's when the literal magic happens. And that's when people are going to realize that the holographic principle is true, that there is an extra dimension, the space-time ether that we don't perceive. That's where we can get unlimited energy. And this is why all of that's been suppressed, is because, again, it then leads logically to this situation where we have doomsday weapons, and free energy. And this is all like socioeconomic impact, military impact, national security impact, people's greed and power. There's so many like competing narratives and motives going on at once. And that's how it's been hidden from us. Some people are doing it for noble reasons. They're thinking, oh, I just don't want the world to end. And other people are going, well, I want my country to be safe and have the super weapons, which I personally do. And then there's other people, for me, who are like, I don't really care if this is the end of the world, because the world deserves to know the truth, and the world deserves to have access to this magical technology. And if we manage to make it through it without destroying ourselves, then we're going to be in Star Trek level, and we can go to Mars like Elon Musk wants to do. If you guys want to go live on Mars, we have the capability to get there. Like, we can just use a wormhole and warp ourselves right over there and be there, which I think is incredible. I just think it's amazing. Wow, a bunch of donations just came in. Okay, let's do some of these donations. Chicane, they hint and have been at technology in the movies, like all their knowledge. Yeah, the population has no clue. A lot of, I think it's ancient texts speak about this type of tech too, but just in different ways, rabbit holes deep. I would love to dig into those rabbit holes in the future. I just avoid going down a lot of those rabbit holes right now because if I start talking about some of that stuff, they're going to say, oh, Ashton's a guy that likes this and that weird esoteric concepts and other conspiracy theories. And the truth is, I was never a conspiracy guy before this. That's the truth. I never believed in any major conspiracy before this. But now, once you see something like this, you really begin to wonder because once you realize the power that the United States has over the media and other countries, it's pretty scary. So yes, I do think that they push some of this information out into media to have this like slow drip acclimation where people start to get used to the ideas, so that when they do reveal it, it's not going to literally break people's minds. And you can see a lot of the papers, like the stuff we post about teleportation, quantum teleportation, the patents, all the stuff. It's out there. It's out there. You know, that's the crazy part. It's out there. Cosmoball, and thank you very much for that donation. Thank you everybody for your donations. Appreciate that. Cosmoball 2020, benevolent Putin character leads a league of athletes in a fight for Earth in a game of orbs, teleportation, deep underground prisons. What? Are you kidding? Is that real, chat? How can that be real? Cosmoball? Oh my god. Okay, we might. Holy shit. We might have to watch this trailer in a minute. What? Okay, I mean, if there's predictive programming, that is a weird one, chat. That's a weird one. And then Chicane again. I'm 21, retired, and have all the time and resources in the world dedicated to learning the science. Probably one of the next crypto narratives will be free energy related. Probably. I think that the free energy narrative, it's coming. Like we're ahead of the game. If I'm able to make a business out of it, it's going to blow up majorly. Like it could be something like how big Tesla got, like the car company. If it really works and it's not a scam, then you can imagine the implications of it. It's just going to be massive. And there will be a bunch of people trying to copy it right away. People trying to imitate it. There'll be scammers scamming people. And that's why I'm like at the forefront of it, where like people trust me. They trust I'm not going to screw them over. They trust that I'm telling the truth. They've listened to the science and explained it so they can understand it themselves. So I think it's a good starting place because it's somebody you can trust that you're going to get something that's going to work. Also, Scarlett Johansson is fine. Yeah. It's been an ongoing joke, but she is like the ideal woman. And if they can clone her, just clone like a bunch. Why can't I just have a clone? I said too that I would settle for a Tiffany Gomez clone. That guy ain't real there, and from the airplane. But apparently she's a Mavericks fan, so that might throw a wrench in the plan because the Timberwolves are playing the Mavericks right now. So, okay. Yeah. So Ross Coulthart and I have a rocky relationship because he thinks the videos are fake. He actually thinks the videos are fake. And like I exposed him early on, way before, like way back in like September. I exposed Ross Coulthart and several other people as well. And this was back when I thought everybody was like a disinformation agent. I really had no idea. And now I just think Ross Coulthart like just is like too CNN brain himself. But he wouldn't even talk to me about the MH370 piece that he did. He talked to Florence DeChangy, but he wouldn't talk to me about it. So like a lot of these guys, I burnt a couple bridges that are out there and we're like slowly rebuilding them. So it might be a while. But what I told Ross Coulthart, one of the last posts that he liked from me was when I told him that when teleportation gets proven to be real, come back and talk to me. For a lot of these guys, they need to see it in mainstream academic scientific papers. Like when Eric Weinstein and then the Ross Coultharts of the world see the scientific papers that are able to literally teleport like an actual object like this, that's when they're going to want to talk to me and they're going to go, wait, that Ashton guy was telling the truth the whole time. Brian Keating actually follows me. I've direct messaged him a couple times, but he's also like kind of CNN brain himself. I even gave him some tips, like, it sounds pretty arrogant to send a guy who's like a literal professor of physics tips, but I'm like, hey, maybe you should check into this concept like this or check into that. Might help you out. Because I mean, if Brian Keating wants to win a Nobel Prize, like the truth too is the guys that win the Nobel Prizes aren't generally, sad to say, like Roy D. Herbert probably would deserve one. We know that Thomas Bearden deserves a Nobel Prize, but they're not the ones who win it. It's like the science influencer people that are known. Brian Keating could be that guy. If Brian Keating were to realize that the ether is real and be able to figure out that we can solve dark matter and dark energy with bringing back the space-time ether, then he could win a Nobel Prize. And that's why I'm like dangling the line out there for some of these mainstream academics where I'm like, hey man, whichever the first one of you is that figures this out, like, there you go. And they may say, well, how do you know, Ashton? How do you know? You're just a normal guy. Yeah, well, because I'm the teacher looking at the answer sheet. You're the student who's trying to figure it out. You're trying to work forward and figure out how to explain dark matter and dark energy. I'm going looking at the answer going, here's dark matter and dark energy. How it's explained. So I don't care about winning Nobel Prizes. That's not what I'm doing this for. But if they want to win them, information's out there. We're just going to keep dangling it out there. Someone's going to win it. Okay, so I think I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions. I'm going to skip ahead. So if you didn't get your question answered, please re-ask it in the chat, and then I'll try to go to it. There's no requirement to donate, by the way, to get a question asked. Actually, a lot of people that donate don't even ask questions, which is pretty funny. Hey, Billy. Nice to see you, bro. Good to see you. I don't require donations to answer questions or anything. In fact, you guys see my posts on Twitter, and I post all the time. Yeah, the fact that they keep mentioning MH370 in the mainstream without talking about me is really weird, especially because Fox News just did a whole story about the kid who saw aliens in his backyard. They did a whole story about it. And they're not willing to talk to me about a guy who's like, hey, we warped an aircraft and I know what happened to the plane, that nobody knows where it is 10 years later. And by the way, we have anti-gravitational technology. We've got 2 military videos like, hey, you can find the leaker. Just go talk to him. Send your Fox News journalist after Edward C. Lynn and figure out what he did. Like, and it's kind of weird that they like want to talk to like this family that saw 8-foot tall shadow aliens where the evidence is like just some shadows behind a fence versus like a literal 17-page list of evidence that's all verifiable. Anyway, whatever. Oh boy, 20 seconds. Okay. And I don't know, guys, about like 9/11 stuff or Maui fire stuff. I don't know. I don't know about earthquake generation. I don't know about weather manipulation, but a lot of this stuff seems plausible. I mean, once you start digging into science fiction, or not even science fiction, the science aspects that seem like fiction, then you really start to wonder, like, boy, directed energy weapons are definitely possible. What they're using them for, I don't know. I'm not that worried another MH370 will happen. There will be another event like that. I mean, in fact, look at the Iranian president's helicopter that crashed. Like, is that not weird, guys? The weather was normal. There were 2 other helicopters that had no problem that were with him. And they had just shot a bunch of rockets at Israel. Like, there's videos of rockets raining down on Israel that shot from Iran. And then like a couple weeks later, the Iranian president's helicopter just mysteriously crashes suddenly. And it's like completely obliterated. 2 + 2 = 4, guys. I'm not directly accusing anybody. I'm just saying there was also like 3 governors on board that helicopter. It's a pretty high value target. I would say that I'm very afraid of getting on an airplane. I would say that I'm not going to fly private. Even if somebody was like, hey, I'll fly you out of my private jet, I'll be like, nah, I'm going to get on a commercial jet where there's like another 100 to 200 people on board the plane because I want there to be a lot of collateral damage if they try to take me out. I don't want there to be like a situation where I'm on a plane with just like 2 people. I want to be on a plane with like 100 people. But there's a lot of people that would have to also like, you have to explain why this whole aircraft went down. Also, just for the record, it's going to sound a little bit paranoid, but every time I get on an aircraft, I'm going to make a post about it just so that people know that I got on an aircraft. If anything weird happens to my aircraft, should be considered suspicious. Okay, let's see. Everybody asks about the aliens. Could aliens be responsible for teleportation? I'm gonna put it like this, guys. I'm gonna give it to you bluntly. There's no aliens regarding the teleportation in the MH370 videos. I can't rule it out 100%, but I'd say 99.9%. That's our technology. That's U.S. military technology. Now, that's the downside. The plus side is I have no idea where this technology came from. That's some pretty damn exotic technology to be able to figure out quantum effects on the macro scale. So a lot of people are going to be wondering, where did this technology come from and how long have you had it and why have we been hiding it? That's where you start to bring in this idea of non-human intelligence. And the more, this is also the truth, the more I look into the history of the technology and the physics and scalar physics, the less sure I am of what the situation is. I think it could be anything from aliens are complete psyop and they're using it to cover up the fact that we figured this stuff back out like way back in the 40s or maybe even before, or anything to like cryptids and future humans and aliens visiting us from the Andromeda galaxy. Like it could just be anything. I just have no idea whatsoever. So there you got your answer. Bob Lazar, there's no reason to consult Bob Lazar. He's already had a tough enough situation. I think he'll be partially vindicated with some of this, especially if we have like crash retrievals where that's where we figured the technology out. But I don't need to talk to him about this. I've already figured out the science, and my sources are more connected than Bob Lazar is. So I'm not too worried about that. So, and then Khalid says, I think he was from the UAE. Good to see you, Khalid. Do you believe the wormhole can let the plane disappear? Is this could cause environmental collapse? I think it's going to help the environment. I mean, free energy is going to be a situation where we get rid of all the fossil fuels. Now, for people like you in the Middle East, it's going to devastate the Middle Eastern economy because the Middle Eastern economy is heavily based on fossil fuels and oil. This is where the Middle Eastern countries need to start figuring out what they're going to pivot to. Like you want to be pivoting to like semiconductor industries, stuff like that, stuff like advanced microchips. Those are the industries that countries that are forward thinking want to start investing into, because those are going to be the companies of the future. When we get into Star Trek world, everybody's going to want microchips and superconductive microchips for their AI, for their floaty orbs and everything else like that. Or you move into free energy, because here's the thing. You could have a free energy device and then you can just sell the energy to people. So you can still have the exact same conventional economy that we have right now, where we have power plants, but the power plants are just producing free energy. And then you distribute it and you sell it. That way people don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a free energy device. They can just buy the energy for very, very cheap, because you can centrally have a power plant that makes it and sells it. And then the people that want to live off the grid, they can buy their own device. So that's what people like should be thinking. That's why, as an American, I want I'm a patriot. I want America to have the corner of the market on free energy. I want us to corner the market on semiconductors. I want us to corner the market on all the advanced technology, because that's how we'll make America great again. And I understand how that sounds. I'm not like a giant Trump supporter, but I do want to make America great again. And I want to make it like the most powerful nation on earth. And I want to make it considered like a utopia for the people in this country. And I think that's what we can do. That'd be great. Boy, the chat is moving too fast, man. I'm trying. Okay, let's, if you have questions, hang on to your questions, and I'm going to go through a couple Twitter posts, and I'll answer a few more questions, and then we will have another live stream tomorrow night. But I do have to go to sleep early tonight because I've got to wake up early for an interview with people in the UK. So that's pretty damn early my time. There's a big time difference. Oh, wow. NVIDIA CEO just said in an interview they plan to change all the CPUs to GPUs. NVIDIA is worth like $2 trillion right now. $2 trillion. That's their market capitalization, something like that. Maybe even more at this point. This goes to show you, if you go look back like 5 years, NVIDIA's market value is increased like 15-fold. Like 15-fold, maybe even more. It's absolutely insane how much it's gone up. And they're a semiconductor company. It's, guys, the world is going to change. And you can see it when you watch the stock market, like you can see it happen. And NVIDIA is actually going to split 10-1 as well, because their stock price got to $1,000. So they're splitting 10-1. So if you had one share of NVIDIA at $1,000, you're going to soon have 10 shares at $100. So none of this is investment advice. Invest your money where you feel comfortable, but my opinion is that semiconductors are a pretty sweet industry. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. Oh, another donation. Chicane again. Thank you very much again, sir. Aliens are and aren't a psyop at the same time. Yeah, they're beings from a dimension stacked over ours, and the government access the world. I don't know about all the extra dimensional stuff, guys. I'm not sure. If you listen to my interview with Tom Montauk, that's probably one of the best interviews I've done as well, where Tom Montauk talks about this idea of like time loops and how various loops might be connected to one another. It's a really cool idea. And that's why I say, like, the more I dig into it, the less I know. What I will say I'm very confident of is there's not like a bizarro dimension where like the aliens are hiding in the bizarro dimension. The ether is not like a mirror dimension that other beings are hiding in. The ether is like the fabric of our universe. So that's the part where I don't feel that like the aliens are coming from some hidden dimension. To me, you could say they're coming from like another universe if you believe in like the multiverse in terms of like the universe being a multiverse of little bubbles that are popping up here and there. That's where like maybe you could argue that, but again, I don't know. That stuff's just so far out there. I'm not sure. Yeah, the more I learn, the less I know. That's a very, very true statement. You can quote me on that anytime you want. And that's probably the least. I did not anticipate that, let's just say. I didn't anticipate that the more I learned, the least that I would know. Yeah, I do love that. I can tell that the UAE and the Middle East knows that fossil fuels are limited, and they've been investing in renewable projects for a long time. Like if I was the Middle East, I would be looking into free energy. I would be looking into fusion power and the sources of energy for the future and figuring out like what's the trajectory of my country for the next 20 years, 30 years, 100 years, not just like the next 5 years. Because I do think this is going to wipe out fossil fuels. Mm-hmm. One last question. Where do they teleport the plane to? The best evidence we have is somewhere near the Maldives, based on a B777 fire suppression device and some of the islanders seeing the plane. There, you can make an argument that the plane got held in superposition, which means that like it got released like a few hours later somewhere else. The science of quantum mechanics gets super weird. It gets very weird. And we just don't have two videos on the other side. Now, we believe that the plane went to the west in the Maldives because of the right-hand rule in electrical engineering, which indicates the plane is getting sucked backwards based on the orientation of the orbs around the plane. You can use your magnetic curl vector, which is these fingers. This is your electric vector, and this means your power vector is going to be going in that direction, which is in the case of the plane backwards, and the plane's going to the east in the videos. So we think the plane ended up in Diego Garcia. That's like the most logical place to hide the plane, and we're going to look at that evidence right now, actually. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, we're going to cover actually, we're going to go into that right now. So let's take a look. Oh, one more donation. Okay, chill donations, chat. Ashton caught the APEC talks. Yeah, saw Cosmoball, then Ukraine. Couldn't help but think it meant something. Now here we are. Yeah, APEC is like, that's where these smart engineers are like talking to people. And it's funny because nobody watches these, like comparatively speaking, like no one watches these APEC talks. Some of these people who are at these APEC talks are like really in the know. Charles Bueller, who came up with this EM drive where he's been making the news about this anti-gravity, which is a very simplistic form of it. It's like the lowest level. He's been doing APEC talks for a while. I plan to talk to Tim Ventura, who's interviewed a lot of these guys. I don't know what happened to the passengers, guys. Good question. I don't know. I hope that something good happens to them, is what I'll say. We can only speculate. Oh, the Wolves just won. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Coming back to Minnesota. So yeah, I'm not a psychic. I can only tell you what we can see in the videos and what have you. I will say that it's not looking great for the passengers. So no matter how you look at it, it's not looking great. I also do think that there are underground hangars at Diego Garcia. And actually, people pointed out that there is a hangar that's big enough to house a Boeing 777 on Diego Garcia. Now, I don't know that firsthand because I've never been to Diego Garcia, but several people have told me that there are hangars big enough to manage a Boeing 777, which should not be surprising because they have giant military planes. Like old pictures show like 20 military planes sitting on the runways. And there was a bunch of dredging contracts. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if there are underground hangars at Diego Garcia. Okay, let's dig into this, guys. Sorry, we gotta focus. We gotta focus. Okay, where should we start with this tonight? Let's go to blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing about these news articles about this stuff. I am going to try to get back on with Matt Kim, hopefully in the next couple weeks, because that was one of the best interviews I did in general. Here was the link to the scientific papers right here. This stealth skater. You can find a lot of scientific papers. We are going to be reviewing those in the future as well. Also, this Elevator Charles interview should be coming out, I think, tomorrow. So we talked about that. We talked about some of the debunk stuff, talked about a lot of stuff on there. I actually kind of popped off on this a little bit and started talking some smack about some podcasters. So it might get pretty good. I just want to try to make sure I didn't miss anything down here. Oh, and then yesterday we talked about refuting the debunkers and how easy it was to refute them. And then I showed as well last night that like Reddit, literally the way Reddit brainwashes people and how social media brainwashes people to the point that people ask, like, how do they keep this stuff hidden? Well, the way they keep this stuff hidden is that they control the message on social media. And so Reddit is probably the number one most United States federal government controlled censored applicant program out there. They ban anybody who promotes anything that is counter to the narrative that they're trying to push out there. And then they bot upvote certain comments so that, because the way it works is people only read the headline and then they read the top comments to figure out how they should think. And that's what this lady right here is saying. And I'm not going to play the sound, but she's basically saying that what they do is they manipulate the comments that show up, because then people read it and they absorb that and they take those opinions and they adopt them as their own. That's how the brainwashing literally works on every social media site, but it's very effective on Reddit because people just read the headline and then they read the few top comments, and those top comments are all manipulated. And especially on the news subreddit, that's the most propaganda location maybe on the face of the earth. All of the headlines that even make it on there are already curated. You can't say anything that's even remotely right wing. It's not even allowed. And then, like, even situations, like a good example would be January 6th. Anything related to January 6th on the news subreddit will get upvoted, and you'll have tons of comments talking about how people deserve to be killed. Like literally deserving to be killed. You'll have people just promoting violence on all the top comments. And if you come in and say, oh, Ashley Babbitt didn't deserve to be killed, you will literally just get banned. I actually made a comment about how disgusting it was, how many people were promoting violence. And the moderators immediately banned me within like 10 minutes off the news subreddit. So that's literally how they manipulate the conversation. It's not a secret. It's like just right out in the open. And the Redditors actually know this and they love it. They actually love the censorship. What they hate is when it gets used back on them. And this is the reason why they get so upset when I block them, because my Twitter profile and my replies are like my house. So I have control over what people want to be there. And if you don't like how I manage my house, well, you're free to leave and go somewhere else. I'm going to manage it the way that I want to manage it. And I don't have to account or, I don't have to deal with anybody that I don't want to deal with. Okay. And they hate that because they want to push propaganda in my replies to my followers. And I'm simply not going to allow that. And that doesn't mean that I'm not against criticism. I will take criticism. But what you'll find is most of the people are sitting there making defamatory comments, or they're pushing disinformation, or they're trying to clout chase, or they're trying to engagement farm and link to like other people who are debunkers to try to sway people's opinions and all this other bullshit, all these disinformation ops that they do. And I don't have to stand for that. It's my platform. You want to preach to your platform where nobody listens to you, go nuts, say whatever you want to say on yours. And we'll let the free marketplace of ideas figure out who the winner is. Okay, let's go to the next thing. And we're going to get to those videos in a second. I don't think beings are hiding in the ether either. I think that they exist in a plane parallel to ours, in my opinion. Government aware. Maybe, man. Maybe. If you guys look at there's like a chart of non-human intelligence. There's like 40 options on there. There's more options than even I would have imagined. And again, the truth is, I really don't know. I would love for us to get the answers to the MH370 videos and for the government to admit we have this crazy advanced technology, because then I can start to ask those kind of questions. We can start to dig into some of the fun stuff like, well, what the hell's going on? Where'd we get this from? Like, what? We got crypto terrestrials hiding in the oceans or under the earth or something? Like, who knows, man? Who knows? Especially if you can teleport to planes and warp drive is possible, then that means that like aliens could literally be visiting us from Andromeda Galaxy. It becomes possible. Yeah, airliner videos. Actually, I think it's called Airliner Abduction 2014. That's the debunker subreddit. Like, they banned me from that subreddit. Not only did they ban me from that subreddit, they banned my name. Like, people can't even say my name, or your comment and your post gets filtered out. They banned anyone who would post to any of my investigative work. They banned those people. They banned their content. And so, like, literally, this is why I call it the debunker subreddit, because it literally is. The only point of the Airliner Abduction 2014 subreddit was to make the videos go away. That was literally the goal of that subreddit. That's what the moderators made it for, is to pull everybody into that subreddit and then ban the discussion. And then it was successful. They've done it. And now people post back and they look back and they wonder why that's been happening. And you can see right through it. It's transparent, because what happened is, after they banned the discussion there, all those people migrated over to X. And now they're trying to ban the discussion on X, but they don't have control over X the way they did there. And they hate it. The Redditors love censorship. They love censorship. They just love censoring other people. They don't like when they are censored. And that's the ultimately problem. And it goes to show, again, just how much federal government disinformation and control there is over social media platforms. My subreddit, MH370X, where I simply banned all the debunkers, was banned in under 2 weeks. They never gave me a rational explanation. You can go to the subreddit, MH370X. You'll see that it's banned, permanently banned. They gave me no explanation. And when I appealed it, they denied my appeal after making me appeal twice, and they didn't give me an explanation on the appeal either. The reason why they banned it is because they can't allow people to see the truth, and they can't allow somebody like me telling the truth to be able to speak it freely and openly, because people would resonate with it. We got a lot of traction. At this point, we'd probably have 100,000 followers on the subreddit, maybe even more. And people didn't want to go to a debunker subreddit because they know people are just fucking lying to them there. They want to go somewhere where people aren't lying to them. People gravitate towards the truth. This is why there has to be so much suppression and control. And again, this explains, for the people who are asking, how do they hide this information? This is how they hide the information. 100% control over social media and over the message across every media platform. Okay, so this video right here was one I posted earlier. Now, there's been a couple color changed videos. Now, this one, Wetro, and I don't remember what his Twitter handle was. He sent me some of these, and this was the best one. There's a couple different ones. Now, the only thing people have adjusted on these is the color channels. Nobody has like edited these videos or edited anything into them. Okay, so before people try to claim that somebody edited the smoke into the video or whatever bullshit, no. The only thing that people have done is change the color channels. And when we change the color channels, we can see details more clearly, because in the original, some of the colors are very similar. So it's really hard to see some of the details. Now, in this case, when you see the color change, you can tell that the zap here, not only does it illuminate the clouds accurately, it illuminates the environment accurately. The whole environment is being illuminated. And you can tell because it's illuminating the area around where the zap is happening. And you can still see the clouds over here being illuminated. You can see a little bit of illumination down here in the bottom left. You can see basically no illumination change in the bottom right. But you can even see these areas around the clouds, like the edges here. Even the environment is being accurately illuminated. I'll make this big for you guys. Actually, let me move this over. I'll make sure this works. Okay, yeah. So again, this probably should have had as many views as some of the other stuff does, because look at the environmental lighting on this. This is not just like compressions and artifacts. This is a real event. Look right here. Look at this hole get illuminated on this cloud right here. Like, this illumination is not a manual brushing of this cloud. This would be very, very difficult because these are real clouds. Everybody agrees what we're looking at here is real clouds. The debunkers claim that we're looking at a 2D cloud picture. Yeah, we're not looking at a 2D fucking cloud picture. Look at this. Kidding me? We have two videos from multiple angles, and we have moving and evolving clouds and perfect 3D lighting in 3 dimensions. And we're looking at real clouds. So you're lighting real clouds. You think they fake lit up real clouds? No way. So that's the first one. To me, this is huge. I can't believe this only has 17,000 views, because when I look at that, I'm like, holy shit, how is anyone denying that this is fake? And this is part of the reason why This is part of the reason why I think the whole thing is real. Even the zap. People are like, well, what if the zap is fake? Well, look at what we're looking at right here, chat. To me, when I saw this illumination of the zap, this is when I realized like the whole thing's real. I was actually open to the idea of the zap being edited in by the government or something like that. But once I saw this, I was like, no, even that's real. Holy shit. Like, no one's faking this, man. No one's faking this. There is no hoaxer for these videos, by the way, guys. Like, there just isn't. There literally is no hoaxer. And if anyone wanted to prove me wrong, I've given them so many ways to prove me to be a liar. I've made very bold claims. I've said that there's no hoaxer and there isn't one. All they would have to do is produce a hoaxer and they could prove that I'm a liar. But there is no hoaxer. They could... I've also said that the VFX is not in the videos as a statement of fact, not an opinion, as a statement of fact that's not in the videos. So if they were able to prove somehow beyond any shadow of a doubt that there is a Pyromania Shockwave VFX in here without manipulating it, then they would be able to prove me to be a liar. But there isn't. They have to manipulate it. They have to turn an apple into an orange and then claim that the apple was always an orange. That's not logical. And many people just see right through that deception. So once again, like I've set the bar, man. I've even said what it takes to convince me that the videos are fake. You have to find the hoaxer. And at this point, finding the plane, like we know now because we've seen the acoustic detections, we've seen the scientific paper, we know that they're not going to be able to find a plane in the South Indian Ocean. So if they all of a sudden start to find some debris at the bottom of the ocean, the South Indian Ocean, there's going to be some tough questions to answer. Like I want to see that debris with my own eyes. I want to see 10 years of growth on it. And I want to see exactly what the debris looks like because they're not going to find shit in the South Indian Ocean. Okay, so now here is the stabilized version, okay? Now, before people say, well, what if the stabilization impacted? Now, in this case, the stabilization, you can see right away. The reason actually why I posted this wasn't even the color changes. Because when you look at the stabilization, you can see that even when they move the frames around, everything is in the exact right location, which tells you something very important. If this was a hoaxed video, they didn't stitch together these perspectives. This is literally a bigger field of view. This proves that what we're looking at here is a larger field of view that's cropped. So the only way for this to be faked would be that somebody faked a much bigger field of view, and then they literally did a cropped screen recording of a hoax video. Now, listen to what I just said right there, because I want people to really understand the significance of what I just said. Because the stabilization here, everything is in the same place when the perspective changes, and we can see that from the stabilization. This means that the only way for this to be faked is that they faked a larger video, and then they cropped the larger video into a smaller video. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's never been done for any hoax videos ever in the history of the world. Wild, right? So that's the reason why I initially wanted this, is because I wanted to show people that in the stabilization, as the perspectives changed, you can see these perspectives moving around. All the objects are in the right locations. There's no displacement. The objects never move to a different location. This is actually the counter argument for the jittery contrails. So the people, when they did the stabilization, they falsely claimed that the contrails jittered when it was, and it's smoke, by the way. When they claimed that the smoke jittered, they were claiming they didn't realize that the stabilization software caused that to happen. Well, here's the counter. When you stabilize this video, there's no discrepancies anywhere, which means that this is not a stitched together series of shots. And the funny part is that's what the debunkers were claiming regarding the cloud picture. They're claiming, oh, you stitched together all these clouds or whatever. Well, we can prove beyond any doubt that this is not a stitched together video. There's no sign of it ever being stitched. This would be a much bigger. In this case, they made a giant hoax video and then they cropped it down. That would be the only way for it to be hoaxed, which again, pretty much proves this video is real. Now, and you can see, I didn't even notice this. Now, Quantica Science, you can go talk to Quantica Science about what he did here. He just made a bunch of different color channel changed versions of these videos. And I was digging back through today because I wanted to post one of the best color change versions of the satellite video. I've posted a bunch of the drone video color change versions. In fact, the blue and black of the drone video is my favorite one. And I'll just show you guys that one real quick. Just so I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'm just going to show you perspective here. So here's the blue and black drone video. This was my favorite version of the drone video. And all he's done here is change the color channels. That's it. He didn't edit the videos or anything. Just change the color channel. And again, because it lets certain areas stick out more, some of the details get lost a little bit. Like when you zoom in here, you don't have as much gradients, I think it's called, on the plane. Like you can't see all the colors on the plane, but you can see like the orbs pop out a little bit more. And you can see the black lines in front of the orbs a little bit better in these versions. So the only thing we've done here is change the color channels. So if anyone wants to recreate any of the stuff that's been done, all you have to do is change the color channels around and you'll be able to recreate anything that we've been able to show here. So nobody is editing these and fabricating details into them after the fact. That's not what any of these people are doing. So Quantico also made this version that you're looking at right here of the drone video. So when I saw this video, then I went, oh, he stabilized it as well. I didn't even see that he did a stabilized version. And so I downloaded this version from him. You can find it on his Twitter profile from a couple weeks ago. And this is where JK Philly fan had a really good eye. And somewhere in the comments right here, yeah, she's right at the top. Notice between 13 seconds and 16 seconds how the orbs interfere with the smoke trail. That's remarkable, pretty insane. And I remembered when he said that, somebody else had told me something similar to this, that you could see that. And in the original version, like it's there, but it's hard to see because of the color channels, or because the color of the smoke like blends into the background too much. But in this version, whoa, you can see it. So first thing I did is I checked for myself. So I put this into my editor software. I looked at around the time, 13 seconds in. It's when all three orbs get around it. And I checked it. And I went, wow, you really can see it. And in this fast version there, you can see it right there. It just happened. So right there around 13 seconds, you can see the thing go right through. You can see it displace it. Now the second and third, it goes through it again and they don't displace it again. And the reason is because it's going around in a sphere. So they're not going through the trails repeatedly. So it's like just that one orb that one time went through it. Now, there might be other times that they do, but it's not very visible to see it. So what I did then is I just slow-moed it. I probably should have zoomed in on it, but I just slow-moed it. I got excited because I saw it and I was like, holy crap. So when I saw that detail, I was like, damn, that's wild, because having accurate distortion of the smoke when the orbs go through it shows that the orb is real, that the orb's a real object. And it goes to show that it's even faking smoke dissipation like that is extremely difficult even now. VFX artists struggle with that. So to be able to do that accurately in 2014, when this is supposedly just some random kid on the street doing it for the lulz, completely rules out. There's no 0% chance that anyone would fake this video for the lulz. You know, I would say beyond any shadow of a doubt, the only way this video can be faked is by an absolute professional, by the US government themselves. And even then, there's no way to like rationalize why they would have faked this video. So because people ask, like, could the US government have made it? And I say, well, maybe, but there's no logical reason for why they would have made the video. I mean, it implicates them, you know, like when people look at this, the people that are implicated is them. And yeah, in 4 days as well. So like for the debunker's story to make any sense, and watch the interview I did with Elevator Charles tomorrow, we talk about this. The debunkers would have to start their story with Regicide Anon being the hoaxer. Because Regicide Anon says, description, received March 12th, 2014. And then debunkers just don't ever address that. They just say, well, he lied. Why would Regicide Anon lie about the video unless you think he made the videos? If he received these videos, he has no reason to lie about it. And they're like, well, we don't know why he lied. Well, then he didn't lie. Pretty simple. So there's a really good chance that these videos were leaked March 12th, 2014, which is 4 days later. There's no chance you can make these videos in that period of time. 0% chance. They weren't even searching in the right area at that time. We were searching in the South China Sea. The world thought the plane was in the South China Sea. And this plane has coordinates in the Nicobar Islands. So these are some of the most impossible details. And the reason why they can't claim that Regicide Anon was the hoaxer is because higher quality versions of specifically of this satellite video, the Regicide Anon's version is stereoscopic side by side. And there's a higher quality version that's not stereoscopic that was released by somebody else a couple months later. And there's been people that have claimed that this was posted on some forum, some secret like UFO forum that needed like a password to get access to. And that would mean that there's a higher quality version. You can't make a higher quality version of a video from a lower quality video, which means that Regicide Anon is not the original source. That would rule out Regicide Anon as being the hoaxer. So this is why the debunkers get trapped. And this is the simplest way to trap them. You just say, is Regicide Anon the hoaxer? And they go, no. And then you say, okay, well, then the videos are real because that means they were received March 12th, 2014. And they go, well, no, Regicide Anon lied. And you go, okay, well, who's Regicide Anon and why did they lie? End of argument. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to go too much into this. Okay, so here's the slow-mo version that I made. So what I did, just to be perfectly transparent, I cut it down to like the 2 seconds where I saw the orb literally dissipate. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it dissipating the smoke trail, which is about to do right here. And then I copy and pasted it, and I reversed the time on it. I did that twice, and then I took a very super slow-mo version and did the same thing. So this is technically 3 of the same things stacked side by side, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. That's all I did. I made no other edits to it. Right there, you can just see it go right through the smoke. I mean, there's no denying it whatsoever. Right there, boom, you can see the smoke go right through it. I checked before and after. There's no other smoke sitting around here or anything like this. It's not a compression artifact. This thing is going straight through the smoke. It hits the smoke. You can see it clear as day. You can see the smoke dissipate right here in that frame. And then you can see it go back. I mean, look at that. When you see it go forward and back, it's so obvious. Like, boom. What frame? This frame right here? Like this frame right here where you can see the smoke, especially when you watch it moving. Look at that. Look at that. You can see the smoke it dissipated. There's no denying it. It's so crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, when I saw that. Look at that. It's going right through the smoke. Literally hits the smoke and dissipates it naturally too. Like that's what it really should look like. And someone said too that because of the gravity engine, like they think it's even more accurate because it's creating space around there, which is causing like this, the smoke to like maybe, I guess the way to think about it is like make a cone basically. Wild, man. So I'm just gonna play the whole video again so you can watch it. So right there, it clearly breaks through the smoke trail, reverse, play through, breaks the smoke trail, reverse again, and then super slow-mo, frame by frame. Poof, look at that. Look at that, man. Undeniable. Undeniable, man. Holy crap. That is just absolutely incredible. Ironclad proof, really is. And this is why the debunkers have nothing. There's no counter to this. The only counter you can claim is that somebody edited it in there or whatever, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen, chat. There's all there is left is to cope and seethe. All there is left is to cope and seethe. And this also rules out, there was some guy, some loser named Joseph Lancaster who was lying about having made the videos. One of the things, and I'm on the record saying this, is that if somebody had made the videos and like didn't have proof with them, the proof would have been they would know small details that they had added that we had no idea about. This would have been one of the details. Like if somebody had made these videos, they would come out and say, oh, I added the orb going through the smoke trail on frame 17 or whatever, 13 seconds into the video. They would know that because they would have had to manually add that in there on the one orb going through the smoke trail. So Joseph Lancaster, if he hadn't been a liar, and Joseph Lancaster, if you find this piece of shit on Twitter, he's a 100% liar. And he came out and he tried to lie about having made the videos, had no evidence. His whole story fell apart. There's still Redditors that think he's telling the truth because they're just copying or whatever. He's 1000% a liar. If he had made the videos, he would have known about this detail, and he would have brought this detail up because it would have been absolute proof that he had made the videos. He would have known about a detail that nobody knew about, that nobody had found. So there you go, chat. Okay, let's look at some of the other sagas. God, this video, even I love looking at this video. It's wild. 421,000 views. And so let's talk about this because every single time one of my things is going to get over 1 million views, this one's going to get over 1 million. It's only 9 hours and it's already 400,000 or something like that. I always post the evidence on there so that they can't community note me. Because the next thing the Redditors are going to do is they're going to try to censor me. They're going to try to community note it. I already know they've done it many times. So if you guys see community notes on this post, downvote them, report them. The best thing you can do is report the fake community notes so you can get the people who posted the community notes banned from the platform. So once again, report any fake community notes. No, there's no YouTubers who have debunked this. No, Mick West has not debunked this. Nobody has debunked these videos. These videos are real. Anybody who's trying to lie about them, they should get reported and they should be removed from the community notes platform. And so here's the claims that I posted on here. The videos are real leaked videos. I've identified Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lynn as the leaker, so there's no even reason to try to debunk them. I've given you guys the leaker. Anyone who wants in the world, the media, anyone can go find Edward C. Lynn, and they can just straight up ask him if he leaked these videos. These are real military videos of MH370 that were leaked from probably classified sources, presumably, maybe not, don't know. United States military, all the way up to President Obama, is implicated in the disappearance of MH370. President Obama was visiting the prime minister. The prime minister ended up going to prison for the biggest corruption scandal in history called 1MDB. He stole at least $700 million. So, dude's sketchy as fuck. The motive is the 20 Freescale semiconductor engineers. They were literally very important people for this company, and a show of force for adversaries. Technology that's on display is gravity and space-time manipulation. That's what we're looking at there. We've been able to show scalar physics is what causes that. I don't have it in there, but I've interviewed engineers connected to the government. Salvatore Paez, Navy engineer, active Navy engineer. Dave Rossi, DoD contractor and engineer. And learned that this technology is real and is being suppressed from the government. Salvatore Paez has literally patents for this technology. He has patents for the technology that we're seeing. High frequency gravitational wave generator literally explains what we're seeing in these videos. So we have real patents, real scientists, and real scientific papers. The technology is basically a super weapon that beyond conventional comprehension. So on this part here, like, this is beyond nuclear weapons. This is a super weapon beyond what the public thinks is currently possible. And I want people to realize that, because I want people to understand the dangers of what we're talking about here. I have reported the videos and the leaker to the AARO, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, who is underneath the DoD and Pentagon, for authentication and an official statement from them. They have said that they would give me an official statement. They have said that they would give me a historical record, memorandum of record. They have said that they found something related to the search efforts after the plane went off of radar, and I've gotten nothing. I've gotten nothing back. They've ghosted me over a month ago, and to me, this implicates their guilt, because if these videos were fake, they should have been able to come back way long ago, and they should have been able to prove that they were fake to me. So they're probably going to try to gaslight me. That's the truth. Related to this, I also want to point out that they said that the United States search efforts, that there's something related to search efforts after the plane lost radar. Well, we proved that there's 5 radars that were within range of the plane after the official story says it lost radar contact. 5 radars. Thailand and India were within range, and Indonesia. All 3 had radars that would have tracked the plane. We have 100% proof of that. So why are people lying about not having seen the plane? There's at least 5 different radar systems that would have tracked the plane after it supposedly lost contact. United States government is freaking out over the attention that these videos are getting, and they're pulling out all the stops to try to put this genie back in the bottle. Unfortunately, this genie's not going back in the bottle. The only way to stop me from talking about these videos is to turn me into a martyr. And if they do that, then I'll probably become an urban legend. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. YouTubers who debunk the videos are frauds, and they lied to you. So I'm making this as a statement of factual statement on the record that the YouTubers that claim these videos were debunked, which includes the Lore Lodge, Mick West, Corridor Crew, these people are frauds. They falsified fake comparisons, and they lied to millions of people. I want that to be on the record so that people know that I am directly accusing them of that. And I would be able to prove it in a court of law that they falsified comparisons and lied to millions of people. I would love to go to court against any of these people and prove in a court of law that these people are frauds and liars. I would love it. All debunk attempts have been conclusively proven to be falsified and fraudulent, and you can find a link into the evidence in the post below. So if there's any question about that, you can just click this right here, and there's all the links to all the major debunks right here that have been proven false. So I've literally put all the evidence out there. None of this has ever been refuted. In fact, the one about the cloud image right here being impossible to require a 3D render, we have moving clouds. You can literally watch the clouds evolving right here, right where my mouse is. You can literally just see it. You can see the accurate lighting, and we just showed the accurate lighting. It even illuminates the environment, not even just the clouds. You can see we have 2 videos that show the same cloud formations synced up right there. Here's the first cloud. What is it doing? There's the first cloud right here, which is presumably this cloud right back here. And then you can see the second cloud right here, which is clearly this one right here. So we have 2 videos. This requires a full 3D rendered environment. This is not a situation where someone's using After Effects. So I showed this information to Mick West. He refused to look at it. This post right here, which is just a reply, has 35,000 views. Mick West refused to look at this evidence. He's a fraud. Mick West is 100% a fraud and a phony. He's been banned from Wikipedia for manipulating Wikipedia using alt accounts. Nothing Mick West says has any credibility. Nothing any of these debunkers say have any credibility. I just want to make sure that I'm saying that as statements of fact that are out there. And if you want to come after me in a court of law, I cannot wait. I have all the proof. I have all the receipts. I have everything ready to go. Okay. So speaking of that, and then we'll go to the orbs part. So when I asked, after this video came out there, I made a post on Mick West post because he was saying something, and he's blocked me now, saying something about Tim Galloway or whatever his name is, Rear Admiral in the Navy or whatever. He went on Sean Ryan and he was saying that there's disinformation people out there. And Mick West goes, well, show me the evidence. And I say, okay, here's the evidence right here. I said, it's time for you to apologize and retract. Mick West is directly responsible for all the debunk attempts related to MH370. Every single one leads right back to him directly. And we found now proof that the videos are real. So he should have addressed this proof because he's literally asking for evidence. And I've given him the evidence, and he hid my post. He hid my post, even though it was directly related to what he was posting. He was saying that people don't provide evidence. I provided the evidence for him. He also ignored the evidence of the cloud images, and he keeps lying about it over and over and over and over again. So I made this post then. He hid this reply. He owes the families an apology. He owes me an apology, and he needs to retract his fake debunks that he has falsified and promoted fraudulently to the world. Every single debunk relates back to back to Mick West, including the Philip Wood picture that he debunked in 2014. He even debunked this picture, and I rebunked that picture too. That was even before the investigation. Somehow, one guy, one man, Mick West, is linked to every single debunk about MH370, not even just the videos, all debunks out there at all. That has got to be extremely suspicious. That we're looking at a real conspiracy where the United States took the plane, where it completely disappeared, and one man is tied to every attempt to cover it up. One man tied to every single attempt. So this is where I'm going to push back on them. First of all, Mick West is a ghoul. He is a terrible person that he needs to think of the families in terms of what he's done and have some shame for what he's done. It's disgusting that somebody would cover up what happened to 239 people like he's done and lie about it to the world. This is the compassion argument that the debunkers always try to throw at me. I'm throwing it right back at them. And they try to claim that I would not accept the truth, even though I said if you find the hoaxer, I will admit the videos are fake. Just find the hoaxer. They're the ones. Debunkers refuse to accept the facts and reality. There's nothing. They will never admit they're wrong. They're never going to apologize. Doesn't matter how much proof we provide. Even when we provide a video of orb literally distorting the cloud, distorting the smoke, they still won't even admit they're wrong. Even when I proved his debunk attempts were false, he still wouldn't. So they're the ones that project their insecurities. They're the ones that will never accept the truth, no matter what. Doesn't matter. He's also paid by Skeptical Inquirer to debunk real videos. This is a statement of fact. Mick West is paid by Skeptical Inquirer to debunk real videos. He should be charged with criminal conspiracy under the Pinkerton rule, which says that you can be charged even if you are not directly responsible for the conspiracy. If you're part of the cover-up, you can also be charged with the crime. That's what the Pinkerton rule is. He should be charged criminally over that. Here's the 100% proof. I have all the receipts. I'm a fellow of the committee for the Skeptical Inquirer. I get paid a little to write a column for their magazine every 2 months. Here's the last one. Oh, what is it? It's the article debunking MH370, claiming fraudulently and falsely that the videos are fake. when he knows, as a statement of fact, he cannot possibly know that the videos are fake from a factual perspective. So what this is called is lying. When you claim unknowable information, when you don't have a hoaxer and you haven't proven the videos to be fake, then that makes you a liar. And he says, if somebody else wants to pay me to be skeptical, I'm all ears. To me, that's a statement of guilt. He's literally promoting that he will debunk stuff for money right here. Somebody wants to pay me to be skeptical, I'm all ears. Okay? So, posted that about him. Get blocked. Got blocked by Mick West from that. He's dodged 5 debates. He has ignored the evidence multiple times. He's ignored all refutations of the debunk attempts. I've shown him the evidence that the VFX doesn't match. We've shown him the jittery contrails was a matter of stabilization. 3 or 4 different sources proved it to him. Independent sources, not even ones that are tied to me. Refused to admit the truth. So let's just read this. I guess this settles it. My detractors always say that I block people instead of addressing the arguments, which is false. Constantly, people post the same arguments, and I keep replying every single time. It's usually the VFX, cloud stuff, whatever. I reply over and over and over and over again. I would say 99% of the time, the only reason why people get blocked is because they call me a scammer, they call me a fraud, they call me a grifter. If you say any of those things to me, you're going to get blocked instantaneously. Instantaneously, I'm not going to think twice about it. I have no time for negativity in my comments. So that's what gets people blocked. And usually when people say, I got blocked for no reason, I go look at their replies, and I find them literally just toxically attacking me, and I just post it. I've actually done that several times to people because I get tired of doing it. Turns out that's what their hero Mick West does. He was proven wrong. He was proven to be a liar, and instead of addressing the facts, he blocked me. So let this post be official record that all debunks related to Mick West have no merit. They all come from an objective fraud who is paid to lie about real videos, which we showed the proof right above. This includes the VFX comparison that the Corridor crew borrowed and they claim that it was their own. It actually comes from Mick West. The jittery contrails claim comes directly from Mick West. Duplicate frames claim comes from Mick West. And the Philip Wood picture analysis comes from Mick West. We even found out that the 2D cloud image, Mick West personally knows the website owner and where it was inexplicably and impossibly found, and there can't be a 2D picture of clouds in the MH370 videos. Somehow, every single debunk leads back to Mick West. All debunks related to MH370 have been conclusively refuted. Let's move past the phonies and move into Star Trek without them. And I think somewhere down here, I think it was Wall Street, and we're going to go back. We're going to be done with this. But yeah, I'm just laying the fire down on people, guys. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. So here's the proof that he knows. Actually, this is from Mick West, Skeptical Inquirer. The one that I linked that I talk about right here. This Skeptical Inquirer link that you guys can go find right now. You can prove it for yourself. Skepticalinquirer.org, MH370 teleportation hoax. You can go click on this, and you'll find this post in there. What does it say right down here? Again, this was a source I was familiar with. I left the games industry long ago, but still hang out on a private industry forum where I know the owner of textures.org. It's actually textures.com. Mick West is kind of an idiot and can't even spell correctly. He literally knows the owner of the obscure website where the cloud image was mysteriously found by a 6-day-old Reddit account. What? And he admitted it in his own post? Wow, chat. That's pretty damning. Why is one guy connected to every single debunk? Every single debunk. He even admits that the 6-day-old Reddit account called D1370370DPX3709DDYB2I6L. Is that not weird that it's a random burner email account that inexplicably finds a picture on an obscure website and claims they found a picture of clouds in 20 minutes that you have to stitch together and stretch out and reorient? Was this guy the Rain Man? He's the Rain Man. He had to look through 115 sets of clouds in 20 minutes and magically found the picture of clouds that can't be in the videos. Amazing. Yeah, so my claim on Mick West is that he's objectively a fraud. If you think he's a government agent or whatever, I don't really care. I don't really know. Whatever it is, he's a piece of shit. So the only reason why I'm talking about it is because he nonstop keeps talking about me. Nonstop. Every day, even today. So Hopefully that's the end of him. So I blocked him back because anyone that blocks me, if I find that you've blocked me, the very first thing I do is I go up there and click block, and then I block them right back. So if you block me, you're going to get blocked back. I don't unblock people except for in extremely rare circumstances. Now, people ask, last thing for tonight, and if you have any other questions, please let me know. Somebody says, I heard some of the background image disappears around the orbs. That's not true. No, that's not true. Okay. If you have any other questions, let me know. So people ask, and put your questions in the chat right now, and I'll take a look before I go to sleep, which we're going to log off here in about 5 minutes. People ask, what are the orbs? Superconductive harmonic orbs. People want to know what the orbs in the videos are. They are exotic vacuum objects that exhibit magnetic monopoles. Basically, there's an object inside of them that are producing a field of plasma around them. There's no one inside these orbs. There's not aliens or humans inside these orbs. They're either a targeted homing or remote controlled. They're either targeted / homing or remote controlled by AI / advanced computers. There's also a possibility there's some kind of beam matching them or moving them around, but so you get the idea. Somebody asked how the orbs move. They are bending space-time around them, like pulling or like being on a conveyor belt. So it's not that they're moving space around them. That's why they don't exhibit any G-forces. That's why they're ignoring gravity. They're literally creating space around them and pulling themselves forward. Like if you were on a rug, like my mouse pad right here, if you're on the rug and you pull the rug, that's what the orbs are doing. Good question. The second one does not come out of the first one. You can actually see the second orb come out of the water. That's the only orb we have a good idea of where it comes from. The other two come from the side of the screens. The second orb comes out of the water, shoots up, and then kind of connects to the plane. So just a heads up on that. So hopefully those are questions. Oh, the reason why I block him is because I don't want people to be able to quote tweet me or anything like that if they've got me blocked. If they've got me blocked, I don't want them to see my content. So that's the reason why I block people back. That's why that's my policy is if I see you blocked me, and it happens a lot, especially in the UFO community, there's like hundreds of people that have me blocked for no reason that I've never interacted with. No idea who are. They're just triggered by my existence. So whenever I see those UFO fraud people that have me blocked that I've never heard of before, I just block them right back. But yeah, so hopefully that explained how they move. I don't know about Skinwalker Ranch. I've literally never watched Skinwalker Ranch. I would say Skinwalker Ranch is made for entertainment, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't think that there's random portals just walking around. Like, it takes very specific energy levels and densities to achieve some of these effects. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't happen. Doesn't mean they can't happen in real life with the right conditions, but it's going to be extremely rare. It's not going to be a situation where they're just hanging out. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, maybe I'll come down to Texas sometime. We can have an MH370X party. I don't know much about Antarctica, but you can watch my Eric Hecker interview if you want to know more about the Antarctica stuff. I did interview him. He is a whistleblower from Raytheon that went down to Antarctica. Pretty cool. Yes, I've seen the Mazel orb. I don't know much about it. I just know that what we're looking at here is not a metal sphere, which is what blew me away, is that we were looking at a plasma ball. That's one of the first things you can tell looking at the drone video, is you can tell we're looking at a ball of energy. And so let's go back into that. You missed out. I already went through just like 20 minutes ago. You have to rewind if you didn't find the new detail in the evidence. So when do I sleep? Yeah, hopefully I'm going to go to sleep right after this because I got to be up early. So yeah, they'll quote tweet me out of context and stuff like that. So this is the reason why I just block people back, guys. Again, I just answered all the questions. How are the orbs defying gravity? They're bending space-time around them. That's the answer to how they move. That's the answer to how they're defying gravity. You can literally see the space being created in front of them in the orb videos. So I'll show you guys another comparison. So everybody's asking about how the orbs move. So this is a different color channel change version I'm going to show you guys right now. This color channel change version really lets you see how the orbs move. So what they're doing is they're bending space around them, pulling themselves forward. It's most likely a version of Alcubierre drive, warp drive. So this would be subluminal warp drive. Subluminal means it's not going faster than the speed of light, but it's still bending space. That's a little bit different than a wormhole, which is like creating a bubble around the object, creating a hole in the fabric of space-time. So there you go. That's how they're moving. And you can see it very clearly in this video. Those lines are in front of them, and they sort of start to like dissipate behind them pretty quickly. So that's where like the space is like being temporarily created and then disappearing. Pretty incredible technology, if you ask me. And nothing like that has ever existed anywhere in any video. Peace, David. Thanks for being here. But yeah, nothing like that has ever existed in any video. There's been no UFO videos that ever show anything like that, which is crazy. Oh, Ian Carroll showed an FBI file talking about Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, supposedly there's this whole background related to it. Okay, so if I missed your question, I think that the orbs probably are visible. I think that they probably are, but I don't know for sure. I think that if you're producing this much energy, it's going to produce visible light. But yeah. Yeah, the space in front of them, it's not, yeah, they're creating space in front of them, guys. It's like opening up space in front of you. So they're creating their own geodesic for sure. Why aren't the orbs cloaked? I don't know. Can't answer the question for you. Again, it's because we're seeing an infrared, it's hard to know. Anyway, let's finish this and I'll answer a couple other questions. The orbs show harmonic pattern consistent with a 3-phase, 120-degree electrical engineering power system. That doesn't seem random to me. That seems very deliberate. Their movement forms perfect sine waves when graphed. The right-hand rule indicates the plane is being pulled backwards, somewhere back from the zap, which is to the west. I found an image that closely matches the heat signature of the orbs on the DOE, this is the DOE, Department of Energy, X account some weeks back. So yes, again, the orbs are some sort of plasma ball. That doesn't mean there's nothing inside there, though. So down here at the bottom, I'm just going to go to show you that. This is from the Department of Energy's website, the one on the right, where they're talking about plasma physics. Look at how similar the heat signature is to the orb. It is identical to the orb. Identical heat signature. If we zoomed in more, it makes me wonder if you would be able to see even this part in the middle here. Like, there's no way this is a coincidence. It even has, like, you see where this heat signature right here kind of like cuts back. You can even see where that's happening in the orb video, or in the orb. To me, that's wild how much that connects. And then just yesterday, we found this post from the Unitel website. The Unitel website was this one talking about macroscopically observable superconductive states, like literally quantum effects at the macroscopic level using superconductivity. And then we found these paragraphs. Even though monopoles have not yet been observed, and that's what we're looking at, magnetic monopoles, that's this right here. Even though monopoles have not yet been observed, there have been successful applications of helically wound optical fibers and RF waveguides producing monopole effects such as parallel transport on a macroscopic scale. Well, guess what? Freescale Semiconductors was producing RF power, radio frequency power, for the United States government. So there's another connection directly from the orbs to Freescale Semiconductors. We will also produce parallel transport, which is a purely geometrical effect, with our pulsed spiraling laser plasma. Seems like that could be, I mean, we see our orbs spinning around on their axis. Like, this seems like literally what they're describing. Centrifugal force is exerted on the projected plasma, is directed towards the center of the circular motion of the spiraling plasma, not away from it. Interesting. This phenomenon is attributed to massively rotating charged naked singularity at the endpoint of the projected plasma. So presumably what they're saying here is this middle here, there's like a beam shooting in towards this, or it doesn't even have to be that far out. Maybe it's like right here, and it's shooting in towards this, and it's creating this effect. That seems to be what this is explaining in my, normie brain perspective. This 3-phased projected plasma. What? 3-phase projected plasma? Like a 3-phase electrical engineering system? Like the exact same system that I just read up here, 3-phase, 120-degree electrical engineering system. This 3-phase projected plasma confines the excitonic gases and provides a path of parallel transport. A finer connection that automatically aligns the trapped charged particles in one direction like atoms in a magnet. Literally, they're talking about how to create a magnetic monopole using plasma right here. These particles then move without resistance in a superfluidic fashion. This is superconductivity. This is high temperature superconductivity. Excitations perfectly replace the information particles called phonons or Cooper pairs. However, excitons can carry the same information in a vacuum as phonons cannot operate in a vacuum. The 8 exciton mechanism in the superconductive phonon-mediated electron-electron interaction is replaced by excitons. As in the case of phonons, the excitons can cause the electrons to attract, forming bounded states known as Cooper pairs. This is literally describing high-temperature superconductivity without getting it to extremely low temperatures. I think it's explaining these orbs right here. So that's what the orbs are, guys. Hopefully that answers your questions about how they move around. Yeah, this stuff is just... Guys, if these videos were fake, we wouldn't be finding secret science and shit like this that perfectly explains them like in very detailed fashion. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's probably good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the Hodge twins post from only 2 hours ago already has 160,000 views. Sorry I didn't say guys and I said men. Okay, let's try to wrap it up. Any other last questions? I do not think that they move like any type of metallic spheres. I think that what we're looking at here is like the real deal, hidden technology that we only break out when we have to. I think that there could be various different forms of this. Like China and Russia might have their own, and there might be forms of it that are literally metallic spheres. I don't know. But what we're looking at here is definitely plasma, field of plasma around something else, which I think should be visible, but it's hard to say. Both videos are at nighttime. The drone has nighttime video capability, and you can even infrared capability. They have false color IR can make it look like daytime. So a lot of people don't realize we're looking at daytime, guys. Or I mean, we're looking at nighttime. Sorry, we're looking at nighttime. They're making it look like daytime. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, there's no issue about daylight stuff or whatever. A lot of people argue that, but they're just speculated. The orbs are not manned. Any other questions? Guys, I don't know. The stuff about the ultimate destination, once again, I've said everything I'm going to say about it. Diego Garcia, there's no way to know any more than that. We're not doing any remote viewing and psychic shit. We're not doing any of that. Okay. I'm not super interested in like the 369 stuff and sacred geometry. I'm not interested in numerology stuff. And the record, just for the record, guys, I get more direct messages than humanly possible. So I can't even look through a fraction of them. So if I ignore your stuff, it's not personal. You just have to realize that it's gotten to a point where it's completely impossible for me to be responding to everybody. And I'm going through it piece by piece. And I've got a list of about 100 things that I'm supposed to look at. So it's going to be a little while for that. What I will do, Freescale was bought by NXP. So Freescale is gone. They got bought by NXP, just for the record. Yeah, I'm not going to do stock picks. I've given you guys the information I'm going to give you. I really don't want to run afoul of the SEC. That's how they'll get me, is they'll get me on some bullshit financial crime or something like that. So for Road Pirate Films, the reticle thing was proven to be fake as well. It's actually, the reticle is built into the software. So the reticle, we actually showed several other, I showed one picture that shows literally a blurry reticle. And several other people have stepped up, and one person who actually said they had experience with it as well showed that, that's completely normal for the reticle to sometimes be behind the object, in front of the object. It's not always going to be in front. So when it comes to the reticle debunk, and you can find a link to it in the post, we talked about this earlier. I have all the debunks refuted, every single one, including that one. The debunkers literally made up a fake, completely wholesale fake debunk. They claimed from a position of ignorance that the reticle should be visible or something like that. And they didn't know that. They just made that up. So once again, every single debunk has been 100% addressed. All the debunkers have been proven to be liars, especially the people like Crishley and T. Powell and these people that are like spending thousands of dollars on fake debunks. They have lied about me. They've been lying about the videos. They've been lying about their VFX skills, lying about everything. None of these people have any credibility. Nothing they say should be taken at face value, and I will not be addressing any future debunks that they come up with because they've been proven to be frauds, they've been proven to be liars, and they still owe me apologies related to the fake debunks they pushed out there. They still owe an apology to the world, and the thing is between me is when I make a mistake or something, I retract it. They don't retract their falsehoods ever. So if you're not willing to be intellectually honest, then you don't have any credibility. Nothing you say has any credibility. So I don't mean to be mean. It's just the facts, guys. Just the truth. Okay. Any other last questions? Yeah, it's Ning Li. I think that you were talking about, not Ming Li, but yeah. I'm not going to dive any deeper into Diego Garcia. It's a good question. I did enough. If you want to see, I did a lot of stuff early on as well. Okay. Road Pilot, you just got banned. You'll never be unbanned either. If the 3D Google environment includes a view of the sky, it would make sense if some of the clouds are from a Google Earth. Yes, because it's clear as organic clouds in both videos. Yeah, there's beyond any doubt the clouds in the videos are real clouds. Nobody's even disputing that actually, because they know that the debunkers know that there's making real clouds is practically impossible. It's like the hardest thing to do in VFX. So this is why it really goes to show how coordinated the disinformation campaigns have been about trying to debunk the videos. Is that they know what they can't admit, and they're very careful about saying the stuff and not admitting to the stuff that they can't admit. Like they can't admit that it's a 3D rendered environment because that would destroy all the debunks as well. So they're very, very careful about the disinformation that they push out there versus me, who I am fully honest about everything that's out there. I've never said that I'm going to patent a device, so don't worry about the free energy stuff, guys. We'll talk about that later on in the future. Brandon Rudder. Yeah, we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to answer. Like, don't ask me any questions, guys. Any personal questions about my family or anything like that. Just don't ask me those questions. I'm never going to answer any of those questions. The woman that died unexpectedly was Amy Eskridge. I talk about her a lot. You can watch the Emerald. If you go back through my history, find the Emerald interview. I actually just recently spoke about her, and I even explained what happened to her and everything. So just heads up on that. Yeah, we're not going to do any petitions. The way this is going to work is we're just going to keep making this bigger and bigger until it gets so big that the government has to respond. The videos, you can find all the evidence about where the videos came from my evidence list. You can watch my own interviews, guys. So a lot of the questions you guys are asking, they're basic questions. I would just implore you to do some of your own research. You can just go through my highlights and you can find all of the information you're asking the questions on. You can find the evidence list that I posted out there as well. In fact, I'll even post the evidence list right now for you guys so that no one can claim they don't have it. So here's going to be a list of the evidence link. I would probably add more sources on here, but everything that you find in this evidence list, you can find by just Googling. You can find the sources for all this stuff. So here you go. There is the Google document list. This is a shared document list. You can read this. You can make a copy of it for yourself or whatever else you want. And all the questions you have are probably in there as well. There's no other cases that have as much evidence as MH370 has. Let's go ahead and watch this trailer for this Putin movie or whatever the hell this is. That'll be a fun way to. Actually, you know what? I think we'll probably end on that as well. Let's watch this first. Actually, let's watch this. It's 2 minutes long, and then I'm going to stop after that. So let's watch this. Right. This is already really weird. It doesn't seem very good. But this is apparently Cosmo Ball. And yes, it looks like there's teleportation. Guy, or do you think that's real? That was the thing that happened, chat. Okay, guys. Well, it's been a good stream tonight. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I answered as many questions as I could. You guys got the answers that you want. I've already addressed everything, including the reticle debunk. Like if you weren't watching like 5 minutes ago when I literally just went over this, just rewind it, guys. Again, the link that I posted, the reply in the most recent post that's been going viral has a link to all the refutations of all the debunks that are out there. Every single debunk has been addressed. There's nothing wrong with the reticle. It's on the person who makes the claim that says the reticle looks false that they have to prove that that's how the reticle should look. So just for the record, guys, for basic logic and reason, when somebody makes an assertion, which is a claim, they're the ones who have to prove that that's what it should look like. I don't have to address what other people claim something should look like. And I don't have to, but I do anyway, just because I know how disinformation flows. So when people say something should look like this, it's on them to prove that something should look like this. So just keep that in mind in the future, because I don't want to have to keep addressing fake debunks. And once again, for the record, I will never be addressing any debunks from debunkers that they invent from this point going forward, including Krishley, T. Powell, Mick West, any of these people. None of them have any credibility. Anything they say has no credibility, and you should not be listening to anything that they say. If you do, that's on you, but do not expect me to address any of those claims. I've already addressed all their debunks. They owe me an apology, the families an apology, and they should retract the false claims that they've been pushing out there. Until they've done that, there will be no negotiation, debating, or anything with them. So just please understand that I've made this statement. I don't want to have to keep making it. Have a great night, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Peace out, everyone. We'll talk later. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Out in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeeze so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plates, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound. A shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos, our future's here.